Enforcement and Compliance, County Government of Kisii, to appear before the Senate as a witness in the hearing for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Therefore ruled that the witness be summoned and subsequently directed the office of the clerk of the Senate to immediately issue the summons and facilitate the appearance of Mr. Oyagi in the Senate today, Thursday the 14th of March 2024 at 12 noon to produce his appointment letter and confirm if the persons who are said to be working in the Deputy Governor's home are indeed officials of the County Government of Kisii. Honorable Senators, it has been indicated to me that the said witness is available this morning. I therefore wish to ask the Council for the County Assembly to indeed confirm whether he is ready to present the witness. Council, are you ready to present the witness?
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Speaker, sir. Members of the Senate, good morning. My name is Wanjiru. We continue to appear together with Mr. Mutuma, Mr. Ndegwa, Mwangi, and Ms. Munyoka. Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, if granted an opportunity by the Senate, we will be able to take the witness.
Very well. Senator Mazayo, you may walk in and take a seat. That being the case, Honorable Senators, I wish to gather the Senate as follows. The examination of the witness to take a maximum of 20 minutes. The cross-examination to take a maximum of 15 minutes. And re-examination to take a maximum of 10 minutes. Upon the discharge of the witness, the hearing program will proceed as indicated in the order paper today, namely the evidence of the Deputy Governor. The Senate is therefore accordingly guided. Let us proceed. You may now call the witness to take the stand. Clerk, proceed to call the next order.
Order number 2, hearing and determination on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, Deputy Governor of Kisii County.
Can you swear in the witness?
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Which page? I'm a Christian. You can take an oath or information and with oath. So this way of English. This way. English. Okay. So you will read this text, you will insert your full name here. Okay. So I, then your full names, then read the whole text. Then you hold the Bible on your right hand. Thank you. I, David Hagai Oyagi, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. David, good morning. Good morning, Honorable Speaker.
For the record, kindly state your name, where you work, and your designation.
Thank you, Speaker. My name is David Oyagi. I'm the Acting Director of Enforcement, Kisii County Government.
What are your roles as a Director of Enforcement?
Honorable Speaker, as the Acting Director of Enforcement, I supervise enforcement operations throughout the county. The overall commander of that unit of enforcement. Honorable Speaker, I also ensure safety and protection of county properties and critical installations, amongst other duties.
You're aware that you're here pursuant to summons of the Senate?
Yes, I'm aware.
And you are aware that you're also here to respond to issues that were raised in regard to the abuse of office in the impeachment of the Deputy Governor?
Yes, I'm aware.
You're also aware that, have you had an opportunity to look at the issues that have been raised?
To some extent, Honorable Speaker, I have done.
Now, Mr. David, there are issues that were raised regarding the deployment of county enforcement officers on two issues. One, on the issue of the arrest of one Ruben Monda, the brother to the Deputy Governor, and also the issue of 4 enforcement officers who have been working or doing odd jobs at his home. Now, if we begin with the first issue, the issue of the 20 enforcement officers who have been deployed, can you address the Senate on that issue, kindly?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to state before the Senate that the issue of mobilization and deployment of the 20 enforcement officers came to my knowledge on 29th of February 2024, when the motion on the impeachment of His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Kisii County was being led at the Assembly.
And did you take any step following your knowledge?
Honorable Speaker, after learning about that occurrence, I, being the officer in charge of that directorate, and learning that my office has been implicated in the proceedings at the Assembly, I thought it's good to do a statement to the Assembly to clarify and give more light or shed more light to that occurrence.
Following your statement to the County Assembly, did you also take any step to do any preliminary investigations?
Of course, I initiated investigation immediately. I did a letter to my deputy director, who is in charge of sub-counties, instructing him to provide information to my office what exactly transpired that day and why did he not communicate to my office early enough as pertaining that incident.
Did you find out how and who deployed the said officers?
After following the report of my deputy director, who went to the ground because I instructed him to go to the ground, he came and he wrote a report to me, and he said that the officers were mobilized and commandeered by the sub-county administrator of Nyaribadi Chache and the sub-county enforcement officer.
Was that commandeering of your officers within the knowledge of your office or the office of your deputy?
No.
Was it legal or lawful?
The procedures requires that the office of the law enforcement be informed of any occurrence. So there was no any communication to me, and therefore that is unlawful deployment.
Did you find out the motivation for the sub-county commander to commandeer the deployment?
Yeah, from the report of my deputy in charge of sub-counties, Honorable Speaker, the person who gave instructions to the sub-county administrator and the sub-county commander is His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Kisii County.
Is it your evidence or your statement the Deputy Governor directly commanded the commander to deploy the said officers?
It is.
Now, David, there was a clip that was played yesterday, the clip in regard to the arrest of Ruben Monda. If we could have it up kindly. Now, as we wait for that clip, David, does the Deputy Governor have the right to command? Of course, he is the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. Do you think, or does he have the right to command the enforcement officers?
You know, in civil service, there are procedures and protocol to be followed in any operation, in an activity. But His Excellency Deputy Governor has got no mandate to direct and give instruction directly to the enforcement officers.
He has to follow the procedures.
He has to follow the procedures.
Now, do you have those correspondences or the communication that you sought clarification from your deputy and his response with you?
Yes, I have them.
Would you mind supplying them to the Senate for them to look at them?
I can, but I don't have enough copies.
Or that will be made, the arrangements will be made. Now, can you play the clip? That clip, Bwana David, was introduced yesterday by one Ruben Monda. Can you pause there? We want to see the motor vehicle, the police vehicle. Now, there, thank you. In that vehicle, are you able to identify the person who is seated at the rear left side?
Yes, of course.
How are you able to identify him?
The person on the rear left side of the vehicle is wearing county enforcement uniform, the for county government of Kisii, and that is my officer by the name Alfred Monda. This is the deputy sub-county commander of Nyaribari Chache sub-county.
And now, this is during the arrest of of deputy governor's brother. Do those officers, or rather, did Keumbu have the capacity to have 20 officers around for purposes of being deployed to such an occasion?
Honorable Speaker, my records and my strength at Keumbu is 22 enforcement officers.
How many?
22 enforcement officers.
So there were officers to be commandeered?
Yeah.
And you do confirm that is one of your officers?
That is an enforcement officer, I confirm.
Now, we move on to the next issue, Bwana David, the issue of the 4 officers who are mentioned to have been working and doing odd jobs at his residence. What do you have to say about that, Bwana David?
The issue of the 4 enforcement officers working at the home or the home of His Excellency Deputy Governor, I'm aware of it, and it came to my attention much earlier, even before the motion before the assembly. And I want to state that there is no any official document toward sanctioning that deployment in my office.
Is the deputy governor entitled to any county officers to work under him?
There is no provision.
There is no provision for entitlement. But is he also entitled to his own personal staff who are paid by the county?
Yes.
Are those personal staff part of county enforcement officers?
No.
They are two separate people. They are those people who are employed by the county as personal staff who work under him?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Are those the people we are talking to before this?
We are talking about the 4 enforcement officers.
Who are separate to the county officer?
Who are separate the county
to the personal staff?
The personal staff.
So is it legal for him also to deploy, and if it is, are they allowed to, is there a scope of work that they should be engaged in?
Enforcement officers have clear job descriptions, and their role is entirely the provision of security.
Right now, David, before I cede my few minutes to my colleague, Mr. Mutuma, I want to make reference to the county government document. Honorable members, the county government document at page 313. The bundle for county government, volume 1, at page 313. That is a statement that you did the county assembly, Bwana David Hagai, correct?
Yes.
And you stated that it came to your knowledge during the impeachment.
Yes, I confirm.
I just want you to clear the air why it came to your knowledge during the impeachment.
Yeah, as usual, any other operations regarding or concerning enforcement officers, the officers need to report to my office, and we have a WhatsApp report, a WhatsApp wall, where all other occurrences are recorded into. But as pertaining to this incident of 20th December, I want to state that there was no information to my office, and that is not usual.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I also want to request that we play the video where there was the witness who left yesterday evening, Ruben Monda, was actually addressing the media. Kindly. The video where the witness, Ruben Monda, was addressing the media. Just the very few first seconds of that video. And this video is actually speaking in the C language.
Gavana wa kaunti ya Kisii Daktari Robert Monda nigo enete ase ensanano enene na mumuro mwabo Ruben Monda igoro y'urutwa komite ase nsemo ya kera.
Kindly pause there. Now, I know we don't understand Gusii, and also members of the Senate do not also understand that language. But I also believe you understand that language.
I do.
What is your understanding of the statement that has been made by the reporter?
The reporter is talking about trees
And
the conflict between him and his brother.
what else does he mention? Does he mention the issue of county officers?
And, can we replay it?
Can we replay it? Can you replay the clip?
Omukulu gw'omugavana wa kaunti ya Kisii Daktari Robert Monda nigo enete ase ensanano enene na mumuro mwabo Ruben Monda igoro y'urutwa komite ase nsemo ya kera. Nigachiteni mwari muriyo mwabo Ruben Monda kogenda kuna chimeta fense yo ase abotebuna atabukirite abantu abange abasigari abo abayiga rese serikali nabo ibo abasigari be county bagoja kumusangana na kumira bakile paseni yeyo paseni kya kirumbu.
Kindly pause the clip. What is your understanding of that video, Bwana Director?
Honorable Speaker, I can see this first person here, and there's a reporter. The person at the television is not talking about enforcement officers or county staff. The person who is talking about enforcement officers is the narrator of the story.
Right.
But the complainant is complaining about his arrest using police officers and enforcement officers.
Now, thank you, Bwana David. This clip was interpreted yesterday, and I invite the House to also have a look at it independently. Now, I want to cede my few minutes to Mr. Mutuma to guide you through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Just hold on, Council. What is your intervention, Senator Kathuri?
Honorable Speaker, because I'm participating in these matters and judge in this quasi-judicial court. Yesterday, we were privileged to get a very good interpreter who was neutral, and he could interpret the language nicely. I am not aware why he is not available today, because I want to trust an independent interpreter and a professional who can give us the right message, so that also as we make a determination, I can be able to say this is what was spoken in Kisi language. Honorable Speaker.
Very well.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I may, I think our worry was that...
Just pause, Council. Council, we would wish to be guided by an independent interpreter on the content of that video, not to the understanding of your witness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our worry was that the interpreter, there's very specific one who came yesterday, misrepresented the version. So if we can have a different one, that would be most obliged, because we seem to be having two different versions of the same story.
I'm informed we had two interpreters yesterday. Can we have the second one to interpret this video for the honorable senators, please? And then the witness can put it in context. So, Council, let me just get you correctly. Are you saying that the interpreter who interpreted this video yesterday did not interpret it correctly?
Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir.
According to who?
According to the people well versed with the Gusi language, that was the indication. But perhaps we can hear from another source if they will stick to the very version of the other interpreter.
Now, Council, allow the video to play and then let us get the interpretation. Thereafter, you may take on your, but yes, Council for Deputy Governor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. We have an objection to that, Mr. Speaker, sir. And our objection is in the sense that we will be going in circles. You will recall, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the interpreter did an interpretation initially. Objections were raised by members of the Senate saying that interpretation was not correct. The interpreter was then given a second chance to interpret, and the whole process went to the end. The honorable members who had raised an objection and who understood Kisi did not raise an objection. Neither did the councils for the county assembly. Now, to ask for the third time of interpretation will not be designed to get the proper interpretation, but designed to get the interpretation that the county assembly
councils want. It is not intended to know the exact position, but rather the position that they would rather. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, we contend on our part that the interpretation has been adequately supplied, and there is no point in wasting time and spending time in hunting out for the type of interpretation that the county councils want.
Very well. Our counsel for the county assembly. There was an interpreter who did the interpretation yesterday. Is that correct?
Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And therefore, as the team from the county assembly, you were adequately covered in terms of the interpretation that was done yesterday.
Mr. Speaker, sir, none of the council is versed with the Gusii language, so at the moment it was not brought to our attention that the interpretation was not correct. Thereafter, that information came to our knowledge. It's only fair that we give another interpreter an opportunity to do that. I do not see, Mr. Speaker, sir, any prejudice that will be suffered by the team representing the deputy
Council
governor.
for the county assembly.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
We cannot have several versions of the interpretation. An interpreter is an interpreter. If this video was given its true interpretation yesterday, the matter rests.
Most obliged, Mr. Speaker, sir, but then I will also urge you, once you retreat to consider this matter in camera, you can have your own consideration based on senators who are well versed with the language. I stand guided.
Good. So then just proceed with the witness. We do not have to hear another version
Thank you.
of Gusii language. Gusii language is one. Honorable Nyoka, Gusii language is one. Or do we have several versions of Gusii language?
Mr. Speaker, the interpretation that was given made me understand. I didn't see any contradiction.
Very well.
And I wasn't misguided. Thank you.
Proceed with your witness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Hagai, do you have any personal interest? I'm not sure whether I can be heard, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Only power the council's microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Hagai, I still feel it's quite low. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Witness, do you have any personal or ulterior interest in these proceedings?
No.
You do not. Have you been coerced, influenced, or persuaded to take a certain stand towards the deployment of the officers that you are alleging were deployed on 20th of December?
Not at all.
You have not. When did you receive the summons from Senate?
I received the summons yesterday.
What mode?
They were served to me
How were you served?
by the server of the court. He called me.
All right. And when did you travel from Kisii to Nairobi?
I traveled tonight.
Thank you. You have told the senators that the information about the deployment of the 20 officers came to your knowledge on 29th of February 2024. The event itself...
Sorry, Council.
Yes.
There's an initial question that you have not understood too clearly. Can you repeat about the traveling? Traveling from where I'm staying or from Kisii?
To Senate. From wherever you are to the Senate.
I traveled today morning.
Today morning.
From where I reside.
Thank you. You have indicated that the information about the deployment of the 20 officers to the deputy governor's home to arrest his brother came to your knowledge on 29th of February 2024. Correct?
Yes.
The event itself took place on 20th of December 2023.
Yes.
2 months apart.
Correct.
Now, as the head of this department, how is it that 20 officers would be deployed, taken from your department to a private assignment without your knowledge? Doesn't that mean that you're ineptitude, that you are not in charge of this department?
No, not at all. You see, this is an occurrence which is happening at the home of the deputy governor. And I'm learning it at the assembly when the motion is being tabled. And that is the first time I'm hearing about it. And as I said earlier, this is unusual because all operations of enforcement need to be reported to my office. And that's why I tasked my deputy to investigate this incident and report to me. And in the report the deputy gave me, he said the reason why the sub-county administrator and the sub-county commander did not report is not very clear. And we have initiated disciplinary procedures against those officers.
So is it an issue of lack of diligence or competence from your part, or there was deliberate effort to conceal that occurrence?
I believe there could be deliberate effort to block us from getting the information.
Thank you. You have also indicated that you've conducted preliminary investigations and there is a preliminary report to that effect.
Yes.
Are you able to tell the Honorable House the names of the 4 officers that you're claiming are assigned at the Deputy Governor's office doing odd jobs? What are their names?
I can confirm that the 4 officers are there, and these officers work in a regular basis. After 2 weeks, they are being replaced, and they are deployed from. Are
you able to tell us the names of those officers?
Yes.
Kindly go ahead.
All of them?
The 4 officers.
I have said the sub-county has 22 enforcement officers, and the duty transfer is being done after a period of 2 or 1 or 2 weeks. So they keep on rotating.
So are you able to tell the names, or you're not able to?
For now, I can't because the investigation is undergoing.
And the 20 officers, are you able to identify, apart from the commander?
Yes.
Are you able to identify the 20?
Yes, yes.
Are you able to supply the names?
Yes.
Are you able to supply the names now?
But now, because they're not typed.
They're not typed, but you have their names.
I have the names.
Thank you. That's all for this witness, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Counsel for the Deputy Governor, your witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, a preliminary issue, we've not been served with this report that is being referred to by this witness. If we can get a copy.
Counsel for the County Assembly, can you make available the copy of the report you're referring to?
With your guidance, Mr. Speaker, sir, we do have the reports. We are also seeing them for the very first time, but we are obliged to serve our colleagues and later make arrangements to supply it to the House.
Very well.
Thank you.
Now, Clerk, can you make that report available to honorable senators?
That's the box.
Proceed, Counsel.
Yes, Mr. Oyagi.
Yes, sir.
You have stated you're the head of compliance.
The head of enforcement.
Enforcement and compliance.
Enforcement and compliance.
Yes. In an acting capacity or permanently?
I'm in acting capacity.
An acting capacity. You serve under whose pleasure?
I serve the county government of Kisii, not anybody.
Which is led by who?
The county government of Kisii is led by His Excellency, the governor.
The governor. So you serve at the governor's pleasure?
I serve for the county government of Kisii.
I'll refer you to the 2 reports. There are 3 reports or 2 reports?
There should be 3.
Okay. In a chronological manner, we start with the one from the 1st of March.
The 1st of March, correct.
Okay. You can refer to that one? Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I know you don't have the benefit of having the copies, but the questions I ask do not really go into the specifics. Can I proceed?
Proceed.
Yes, the letter of the 1st of March 2024. You have it?
No, that's the copy I had, but you can proceed.
Yes, in that copy, do you indicate the officers who are mobilized and deployed to the governor's house?
At that time, it was an allegation.
No, do you indicate who these officers are? Their names are indicated?
I didn't indicate the names, but what I did, I gave instruction.
Simple question, did you indicate their names?
No.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Kalole. Dr. Kalole.
Council, you are not addressing to individual senators.
Mr. Speaker,
kindly cross-examine the witness.
Most obliged. We go to the letter of the 4th of March.
Okay.
Does it indicate the 20 officers who are mobilized and deployed to the deputy governor's house?
It does not indicate, but it indicates that the officers are those who are attached to the Nyaribari sub-county.
Does it indicate that letter?
It does not indicate the name of officers.
Okay. Does it indicate their current mobilization or location?
I believe it does.
You can refer to the same and show us where it does that.
The author of this letter says, indeed, on 20th December 2023, our enforcement officers, about 20, were mobilized and deployed to His Excellency Deputy Governor's home, led by the sub-county administrator. And this sub-county administrator is for Nyaribari Chache sub-county.
Yes, but does it say the 20 officers were actually from his unit? Does it say that?
The officer who is doing this
it's a simple question. Does it say that, yes or no?
It's in charge of the sub-counties.
Does it say these officers are from his sub-county? That is the question. No, nothing more.
Honorable Speaker, the author of this letter is not...
It's either witness. You know, they're very simple questions there that attract either yes or a no.
Yes.
We proceed so that we don't waste time.
I'm well guided, sir.
We go to the last report. This is the one you've made. Yes, so from that letter, is that a yes or no? Does it indicate where they're deployed?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. We go to the report of the 8th of March. Does it indicate the officers?
It does not indicate the name of officers.
It does not indicate the name of the officers who are deployed on the 20th of December? It does not.
It doesn't.
It doesn't indicate the names of the officers who have been deployed at the deputy governor's house as you allege?
It doesn't.
Okay. So there's no way for this assembly to know that their officers either deployed on the 20th of December or currently deployed at the deputy governor's house?
The house is able to know because...
Is there a way to identify them from your reports?
I can supply the names.
No. As we stand here, is there a way to identify them?
No.
Okay. Yes, we move to the issue of the 4 officers who are deployed at the DG's house. Your testimony was that you learned of this before the proceedings, the impeachment proceedings.
Yes.
Okay. These officers were not sent or deployed there by yourselves?
I said they were not officially deployed because there's no any official document in our records.
So these officers are deployed to another place? Or they are assigned another duty in the county?
You see, what I meant is that the officers are taken to do a distinct...
In your department, are there officers who are not assigned to specific duties?
All officers are assigned specific duties, yes, and with the letters.
Okay, so these 4 officers, have been assigned duties elsewhere, and they are not doing those duties, but have moved to the deputy governors. That is your evidence?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to state that the officers are, the deployment must be documented.
But you're saying they're not deployed to the deputy governor?
They're deployed with no documentation.
What do you mean they're deployed without documentation?
Mr. Speaker, when deployment is done, there has to be an official deployment letter.
Okay. So these people who have been deployed with no letters, have you taken any disciplinary actions against them as their supervisor?
Of course, I have complained in writing to my supervisor.
Is that letter before this court, your complaint, before this tribunal?
No, Mr. Speaker.
No, it's not?
It's not.
Okay. So you said that about the allegations of deployment of 20 officers on the 20th of December. You only learned about it on the 29th of February.
Exactly.
Okay. So before that, were you aware of the motion again to impeach the deputy governor?
The motion, I learned that after following the proceedings of the assembly.
On 29th. Before that, you did not know anything about that?
No.
That there's a motion going on
at
at
the assembly.
You did not know?
I did not know.
Did you hear about any public participation with regards to the charges that were facing the deputy governor?
Mr. Speaker, I don't work at the assembly.
No, I'm saying, did you hear, as a person living and working in Kisii County, did you hear about it?
I heard there was a public participation, but I didn't bother to ask what was it about.
You didn't know what it was about?
Yeah.
Even when it involved 20 of your officers,
Yeah,
allegedly?
My 20 of the officers, I learned it at the assembly.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hagai. I'll cede my remaining time to Senior Counsel Kato Kigen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, Mr. Hagai.
Good morning.
Yes. Now, it is your testimony to this Senate that where you stand is that the officers, both who went the 20 and the ones who are deployed from your record, were not properly designated to do those respective things they did.
Yes.
Okay. And for purposes of making that contention to this Senate, you referred to a certain record, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was that record?
The report that I got from my deputy.
Okay. Now, when you say they were not deployed, is it a document or just a word of mouth from the ward admin, sub-ward admin?
You know, the procedure of deployment.
Sir, do you have a record of your deployments? Let me ask it like that.
The record is not there.
You don't have any record showing deployments?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
Because they were not properly deployed.
Okay. Do you have a record of all your enforcement officers?
Yes, I have.
And have you annexed it to any of your documents?
Right now, no.
No. Okay. So you do not have the record of the totality of your officers. Are those officers designated to do certain duties?
Enforcement officers are supposed to do enforcement duties.
Can I just answer my question?
Yes.
Are the total population of the enforcement officers in your portfolio assigned to duties?
They are assigned to duties.
Is there a record showing that this one is supposed to be at the hospital, this one is supposed to be at the stadium, this is supposed to be at the county offices? Is there a record showing?
That is.
Okay. And it is true you haven't brought that to this county assembly, to the Senate, have you?
The summons...
Please answer my question. For purposes of saying in certain individuals, some 20 people went to the governor's brother's house, and for purposes of saying there are people working at the deputy governor's house that were not meant to be there, have you brought the deployment record showing where those people are supposed to have been deployed to?
No, Mr. Speaker.
You haven't. Now, you said one of the criteria you used to come and testify to this Senate is that there were no letters of deployment, isn't it?
They were not officially deployed.
Did you use the word letters of deployment?
Yes.
A few minutes ago.
About the
So the 20 plus the 4, have you brought us the deployment letter so that this Senate can know very clearly that this person who went to the Deputy Governor's house or the one who is working at the Deputy Governor's house had a letter of deployment to a different place but is erroneously in a different place? Have you given us their letters of deployment?
No.
Okay. And you've also said, or rather let me ask you, do you have an HR manual at the county assembly?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. You haven't given us that manual, have you?
No.
Okay. Who are the enforcement officers answerable to?
Enforcement officers are answerable to me as the Director of Enforcement.
To you, okay. And that's what the manual says. The HR manual says they're answerable to you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, in the body of that manual, is there anywhere which designates the Deputy Governor as one of the people to whom they are answerable to?
No.
Okay. And lastly, you say you've come here to tell us what the sub-county ward administrator told you, isn't it?
It is my deputy in charge of sub-counties.
Yes, but that's not the question I've asked you. I've asked you, as you stand here, your testimony to this Senate is what the sub-county ward admin told you, isn't it?
No.
It is based on?
On my deputy who's in charge of sub-counties.
And how did he get that information again?
He did investigations.
And he communicated to the sub-county ward administrator? Is it?
Communicated to the sub-county admin, not to ward administrator.
Now, if we really wanted to know for a fact that indeed 20 people went to the Deputy Governor's house, that indeed there are people who are not deployed, the best person would have been that sub-ward county admin, isn't it? That is the person who has the raw information, is the one who is immediately in that vicinity, isn't it?
Yeah, but he failed to report.
Sorry?
He failed to report.
That's not what I've asked you. I'm saying that is the person who would have told this Senate directly that I know for a fact that there are 4 people working there who have not been designated to work there, and there are 20 people who went to Deputy Governor's house. That is the person who would say that, isn't it? From personal knowledge.
The enforcement officers...
Please understand my question. My question is, the person who has personal knowledge of whether or not there are 4 people working at the Deputy Governor's house, and whether or not 20 people went to effect arrest, is the sub-county ward admin, isn't it? That is the person right on the ground.
There is a sub-county commander who reports to me.
Okay. So who knows for a fact, who is the most immediate person to the vicinity of the house of the Deputy Governor and who would know which people went to his house? Who would be?
The sub-county enforcement commander.
Sub-county enforcement commander, isn't it? That is the person who would have told this Senate directly what happened, isn't it?
The sub-county commander reports to me.
Sorry? Reports to you?
Yeah.
But as a question of a witness, that would have been the best witness for the Senate to know for a fact whether what you're saying is true or not, isn't it? You're telling us what you are told. It's not what you know.
Mr. Speaker, I'm in charge of the Directorate of Enforcement.
And what you are telling this Senate is what the sub-county enforcement commander told you, isn't it?
Yes.
And I know my colleague, Mr. Mutuma, asked you whether you came here under coercion, whether you are threatened, whether, and so on and so forth. Why was it necessary to be careful about that? Why was it necessary that they take precaution that you do not be seen as a weaponized witness? Why was it necessary to do that?
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
I am in charge of...
No. Just asking, why defensive when nobody has made any accusation against you? Why is there that defensive sense that you might have been a weaponized witness? Why?
I learned that my Director of Enforcement is implicated in this case.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that the sub-county enforcement commander knows for a fact that the 4 people working at the Deputy Governor's place are designated to do that job and was not ready to come and lie, and that you are the only one who was available to give a distorted truth of the fact?
Mr. Speaker, I came here as in charge of enforcement and compliance, Kisii County government.
Why didn't the person who...
I take responsibility as the in charge.
I put it to you that it is because you are more malleable and because you've been acting for forever, and you are hoping that by giving this testimony, you will graduate into a confirmed position.
Honorable Senators, that's not true.
Now, as we speak today, Honorable Speaker, can I just have 3 minutes? I'll be done.
Very well, Council, conclude in the next 3 minutes.
As you speak today, do you know where all the population of your enforcement officers are?
Yes, I know.
Since when?
This morning.
Since this morning. So before that, when you are acting, when you are deputy, all that, you never knew where your people are, including the 20 that went to arrest and the 4 that were deputy governors. You didn't know.
You asked as I'm seated, I'm standing here.
Yes. And before that, did you know?
I know.
Did you know?
I know.
I'm not asking about today. We are talking about your testimony saying there are 4 people in deputy governor's place you didn't know.
I know about the 4. And I said here that I complained to my boss.
After the impeachment
Before
proceedings.
the impeachment motion.
Sorry?
Before the impeachment motion.
Have you given us any document?
No.
Showing that you had raised any issues before that?
No, but you have provide evidence.
Lastly, did you say that the deputy governor is not entitled to be designated any staff to assist him? Is that your position?
I talked about the enforcement officers. There are no provision.
I will ask you again. Is the deputy governor entitled to some staff at the expense of the county?
I know.
They are entitled to?
They are entitled, but not enforcement officers.
Okay. Now, as you testify today, do you have anything to tell this assembly that indeed the people who are designated to serve the deputy governor are this and this, and instead of those ones, these ones went? Do you have anything to show that there is a variance between the people intended vis-a-vis the people who are actually there?
I could not be having the evidence.
Answer my questions directly. Do you have any document to say Hagai was supposed to be there, but instead of Hagai, it is somebody else?
No.
You don't have it.
Any re-examination?
I'll be very brief, Honorable Speaker. David, you have been asked whether you have identified the personal staff of the Deputy Governor and your enforcement officers. The question is, do personal staff of the Governor, Deputy Governor, under your direct control?
No.
And are you here speaking about his personal staff or your own staff?
I came to talk about enforcement officers.
Now, you have also been asked whether you have brought a document complaining about the 4 officers, about the report that you forwarded to your boss, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have your complaint letter about the 4 officers?
The complaint about the 4 officers, it was done immediately. I received office.
And it was done before the impeachment?
And it was done before the impeachment.
Now, you have also been asked whether it is you who ought to have come here or it was your deputy director at the sub-county level. The question is, who complained at the county assembly level?
I raised the complaint.
You raised a complaint. Are you the author of the statement at the county assembly level?
I am.
Is it pursuant to that statement that you are summoned?
That is true.
Now, you have also been asked about whether you have brought documents or records about the deployment of the 20 enforcement officers and whether the employment letters for your officers. Now, when did you receive the summons?
I received the summons yesterday.
And when you received the summons, to your understanding, what were you coming to speak to?
I was come and talk about the deployment of the enforcement officers.
And if you had enough time, would you supply those documents?
Yes.
You have also been asked whether the record, whether you have done the investigations correctly, correct?
Yeah.
And the question is, what did the preliminary investigations report reveal to you to the extent that you're not able to mention the name of the 4 officers or the 20 enforcement officers this morning?
The preliminary report indicates that it is true. 20 enforcement officers were mobilized and deployed to execute an operation. And about the four,
are investigations complete?
The investigations are on.
They're ongoing. So are you able to reveal the names of the said enforcement officers at this juncture?
I am able to reveal the names of all enforcement officers that are attached to Nyaribari sub-county.
My question is, while investigations are ongoing, would you compromise the investigations by revealing the names of the officers at this point?
No.
Now, I believe you're a permanent and pensionable employee of the county government, correct?
Yes.
So who is your employer?
It's the county government.
Were you recruited by the county government, the county public service board?
Yes.
So who is do you serve under the mercy of the governor?
No, I serve for the county government of Kisii.
Now, you mentioned, or you have also been asked, the person who deployed the 20 enforcement officers, you correctly put was who?
The sub-county administrator and the sub-county commander.
Does the sub-county administrator have the mandate to deploy?
No.
And is that the reason why even your own deputy did not have the knowledge of it?
Yes.
That's all, my Honorable Speaker. I cede the witness to the members.
Thank you. The witness may retire. Now we're going to move to hear the case of the deputy. Yes, Honorable Senator Crystal, what is your intervention?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Speaker. I just have a point of clarification I hope that you can guide. It's with regard to the summons letter that was sent after your directive yesterday through the clerk's office for the witness to appear in front of us. I just wanted a clarification as to whether the summons indicated or outlined the documentation and the material evidence that this witness would need to appear with here this morning, and also if he would need to have them in 67 copies for each senator to have, just so that we understand what was required of him to bring when appearing to us. Thank you.
Could I get a copy of the summons so that we are very clear on the contents of the summons? Yes, Senator Fernandi, what is your clarification?
Just a quick one to the witness, Mr. Speaker, sir. The acting sub-county, acting deputy director, I have only 3 questions. One, these 4 officers that were deployed at the DG's office, when were they deployed? Because you are saying there are 20 that were sent to assist in the arrest, and you are saying there were 4 from your letter, from your document, that were illegally and unlawfully sent there. So when was the date? Do you have those facts? Number 2, in your report, you have said, in your report, I'm trying to go quickly, Speaker, you have said, Acting Deputy Director of Enforcement has said that that some enforcement officers at the DG's home are doing manual work is a matter under investigation. Are you aware what these 4 officers were doing? And finally, Mr. Speaker, because there are only 3, are you able to provide, have you ever, as the acting deputy director or as the acting director, have you able to visit the DG's home and check what your officers are doing there? And finally, how long have you been acting as at that position? I thank you, Speaker.
Witness, proceed to.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I said about 4 enforcement officers, I learned immediately I received office on 11th August 2023, and I've hitherto complained in writing. About the 20 enforcement officers, it came to my knowledge when the motion was being discussed at the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the issue about enforcement officers doing manual, as reported by my Deputy Director in charge of sub-counties, is a matter that is under investigations, and once the investigation is complete, I shall report to my Chief Officer who is in charge of my department. About visiting the home of His Excellency the Deputy Governor, I can attest that I've visited there once when I was immediately I received office, and this is the time I realized that there are 4 enforcement officers who are deployed there without any documentation, and I have complained about it. How long I've acted? This is the 7th month now, since 11th August of 2023.
Senator Chute, any question or clarification you seek?
Question, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I have 2 questions. Question number 1 is to the witness. How long have you worked as in the capacity of acting director? Number 2, the 4 officers who are deployed at the Deputy Governor's house, who is supposed to take responsibility? Is it the Deputy Governor or your office? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I was appointed to act as the Acting Director of Enforcement on 11th August 2023, and that means that I've been acting for the last 7 months. About the 4 enforcement officers who are working at the Deputy Governor without official deployment, I take the responsibility, and I have said before this Senate that immediately I learned about this development, I wrote a complaint letter to the Chief Officer in charge, asking him to seek to take it up.
Senator Enoch, what's your clarification?
Thank you, Speaker. To the witness, question number 1, when exactly did you get to know about the mobilization and deployment of officers to the home of the Deputy Governor? Secondly, according to your own records, the incident happened on 20th of December 2023, but the first letter that you've written on this matter is on 1st of March. Why did it take too long for you to demand an explanation? And lastly, at the time of your demand letter to your deputy, had the impeachment proceedings against the Deputy Governor started? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I learned about the deployment of the 20 officers at the Assembly when the motion of impeachment was being discussed. And upon learning that, as an officer who is in charge of that directorate, I felt that my department is implicated, and I thought it's prudent for me to take a statement and shed more light about that incident. That is on 29th of February 2024. The following day was 1st March. That is when I wrote a letter to my Deputy Director in charge of sub-counties, instructing him to start investigations and report to my office what transpired on that date of 29th December 2023, and explain to me why this information did not reach our office. On 4th of March, my deputy writes to me after undertaking preliminary investigations, and he confirms to me that indeed the 20 enforcement officers were mobilized and they assisted in the arrest of our deputy governor, his brother, at his home at Keumbu. And why it take long, Honorable Senate, is a question that all of us we need to understand that this occurrence is happening in the home of a deputy governor, and the sub-county commander is involved in this arrangement, and the sub-county admin. The reason why they did not report to me as usual is an issue that requires further investigations and disciplinary action taken against them. And I have recommended in my letter, if you can see, the letter I did dated 8 March 2024 to the chief officer, that the sub-county, the second last paragraph, the sub-county administrator and the sub-county commander failed to report to office as required of them. Reason well known to them, and I forwarded the chief officer for further action.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to ask the witness, one, who is in charge of civil servants at the sub-county level? And two, what position did you serve before being appointed acting director of enforcement?
Honorable Speaker, at the sub-county level, the person who is in charge of enforcement officers is the sub-county enforcement commander, who reports also to the sub-county administrator. The sub-county commander reports to my office directly on matters of enforcement. Upon the position I held before I became the acting director of enforcement, I have been the deputy director of enforcement in charge of Kisii municipality.
Now, as regards to the issue raised by Senator Crystal Lasige, I will read the summons so that you may appreciate the contents of the summons. To Mr. David Hagai Oyagi, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act 2012, on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024, the Kisii County Assembly approved a motion for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Onsare Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And whereas by a letter dated Wednesday, 1st March 2023, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate, on the 2nd of March 2024, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kisii informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly, and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents and evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(5) of the County Governments Act, Cap 265, and Standing Order 81B2 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate, at a sitting held on Thursday, the 7th of March 2024, resolved to investigate the matter in plenary within 10 days. And whereas following the resolution of the Senate, at a sitting held on Thursday, the 7th of March 2024, the Clerk of the Senate issued invitation to appear to the County Assembly of Kisii and to the Deputy Governor of Kisii County, inviting them to appear and be represented before the Senate during its investigations and to file with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate various documents relating to the matter. And further, by a letter reference CAK/3/1/C/CS/002 2024, dated the Friday 8th of March 2024, Honorable Dr. Philip M. Nyanumba the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kisii, in response to the invitation to appear and pursuant to Rule 10 of the third schedule to the Senate Standing Orders, requested the Senate to summon you to appear before the Senate. And further, whereas by the Speaker's ruling made during the hearing of the Senate on Wednesday, the 13th of March 2024, the Senate acceded to the request by Honorable Dr. Philip M. Nyalumba, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kisii, on behalf of the County Assembly of Kisii. And whereas Article 125 of the Constitution, Sections 18 and 20 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, and Rule 10 of the third schedule to the Senate Standing Orders, empower the Senate or its committees to summon any person to appear before it for purpose of giving evidence or providing information. Now, therefore, the Senate hereby summons you to appear before the Senate in person on Thursday, the 14th of March, 2024, at 2 p.m. at the Senate Chamber, Main Parliament Buildings, Nairobi, to do the following. 1, produce your appointment letter. 2, confirm if the persons who are said to be working in the Deputy Governor's home are officials in the county. Take note that should you fail to attend before the Senate on the date and time specified in this summons, or to produce the documentation required by the Senate may impose upon you a fine not exceeding 500,000 shillings, or may order for your arrest pursuant to sections 19.1 and 19.3 respectively of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, and 2, you shall also be guilty of an offense as stipulated under section 27.1A1 and 27.1C2 respectively of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, for which you shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 200,000 shillings, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, or to both such fine and imprisonment. Given under my hand, for and on behalf of the Senate, this 13th day of March 2024. Signed by J.M. Nyegenya, CBS, Clerk of the Senate. Honorable Sige, I hope then that clarifies your issue. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving us that clarification. Yes, you mentioned the 2 items that he was required to appear for and with, and one is his appointment letter, as I've heard correctly, and to confirm about the officers that have been spoken about here. Thank you very much.
Senator Christo. Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When the witness was answering the question, he was asked by Senator Wambua, I think he contradicted himself, because when the lawyer was asking him questions, he said that he's aware of where his officers are all the time, every day. But this particular one, he said that he was not aware until when at the county assembly. Can you clarify that, Mr. Speaker?
Proceed, witness.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that it's true, I'm aware all the time where my enforcement officers are. But in this particular case is an unusual one, whereby enforcement officers are mobilized, deployed, go and effect an arrest without any report to my office. And that is why when I learned of this, Honorable Speaker, I took an action of instructing my deputy to explain why this lapse of not reporting to my office. And the report that my deputy gave is that the sub-county administrator and the sub-county commander who are in charge of this operation failed to report, reason well known to them, and I have advised that action be taken against them.
Senator Kathuri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine are just 2 simple questions. I want to go, the witness to go on record Mr. Witness, under whose command are the enforcement officers in Kisii County government? Number two, does the Deputy Governor have any mandate on deployment of these enforcement officers? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The county enforcement officers of the government of Kisii are under the command of the Director of Enforcement. And whether the Deputy Governor has the right to command enforcement officers is no.
Senator Kaduri?
Name, specific name of the director.
Proceed, witness.
Honorable Speaker, the Director of Enforcement is the witness standing before this Senate, and I'm acting in that capacity. And my name is David Hagai Oyagi. I'm in charge of the enforcement officers.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Could the witness kindly tell us, before he became the deputy, what he was doing? And secondly, whether there is a routine duty roster? And thirdly, when there is a crisis, how they allocate the duties and who sits in that meeting? Thank you, Speaker.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, before I joined, I assumed office of the Director of Enforcement. As the acting director, I was the deputy director, but in charge of the municipality. And about the deployment and how we react, normally in these operations, if there's an incident happening at the sub-county level, the person who's in charge of those officers is the sub-county enforcement commander, who reports to director's office directly or through the deputy director of enforcement in charge of sub-counties. And once the office is aware, we take charge of that activity and we monitor closely so that we can be able to report accordingly.
Senator Manzo.
Now, in this particular activity, whereby there was an arrest and there was 20 officers, did you direct it? Did you sanction it?
Honorable Speaker, I want to respond by saying that this particular case or incident happening on 29th of December 2023, I didn't sanction it. I was not aware about it. I actually, as I've said in this house, is that I learned it at the assembly. And that's why when it came to my knowledge that one of the reasons that Honorable Deputy Governor is being impeached on is the issue of deployment of the 20 enforcement officers to arrest his brother.
Senator Bone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my clarification arises from the assertion by the counsel for the DG that the witness serves at the pleasure of the governor of Kisii. Mr. Speaker, the County Government Act, Section 35, gives the governor the responsibility to form and appoint, with the approval of the county assembly, the county executive committee. The same act, in section 59, gives the power of appointment of the rest of the staff to the county public service board, which appointed the witness. So, my clarification is, in view of this provision, is the counsel of the defendant going to be magnanimous enough to come and rescind that statement so that it is not in record that this witness serves at the pleasure of the governor of Kisii and that he is appearing this morning purely to canvass to be confirmed in his acting capacity? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Counsel for DG.
Mr. Speaker, sir. The question and the fact that the witness acts in an acting capacity was the reason for the contention that he acted under at the pleasure, not at the direction, at the pleasure of the governor, who will ultimately, following directions from the County Public Service Board, be responsible ultimately to his final substantive appointment.
Very well. We will allow the witness to retire and now proceed with the defense of the Deputy Governor. Counsel for Deputy Governor, it is now your time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our first witness is Mr. Joseph Misati. Mr. Speaker, sir, do I proceed or I hold on?
Now, counsel for the Deputy Governor, you have 4 hours to put your defense. Depending on how many witnesses you intend to call, you need them to work within those 4 hours. And we are going to adjourn at exactly 1 p.m. to reconvene at 2:30. So kindly have that in mind, that you have 4 hours within which to put your case forth. Proceed.
Before my time starts running, Mr.
It's already running.
Could I request for 2 accommodations, Mr. Speaker, sir? You recall yesterday when we dealt with the first witness, we had a situation where the time tended to go out of hand because there was no limitation, both in terms of evidence in chief and cross-examination. Subsequently, we had a situation where you required of us to declare how much time we need in evidence in chief and cross-examination. And I would request that we adopt the same approach so that my colleagues for the county do not squander my time in the course of cross-examination.
Now, counsel, if we may adopt we've just had this witness who just retired. If you can be able to just adopt the time indication as we've observed with this witness, I think that would be a good guiding principle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Examination took 20 minutes. Cross-examination 15 minutes, re-examination 10 minutes.
This witness is fairly substantive. I intend to use 30 minutes, but I will manage my time.
So then, counsel, let's agree this way, that your examination, evidence in chief, you'll do 30 minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Cross-examination then will take 15 minutes, re-examination 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if you may allow me, because you've given directions as to cross-examination. And yesterday when we were dealing with the crucial witness, my learned senior Mr. Keegan took approximately 1 hour 20 minutes with the key witness. We will not be much interested with the witness that he has now just subpoenaed, but when it comes to the real culprit, we would request the Senate to relax the rules so that we are able to effectively bring out the fictitious story.
Let's cross the bridge when we get there.
Number two, Mr. Speaker, sir, perhaps our senior needs to put on record his appearance so that we may not have strangers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Katwa Keegan, and the witness I'm calling is Mr. Misati, assisted by my office assistant, Mr. Sagini. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I thought you would require of my colleague to withdraw the use of the word culprit.
That is unparliamentary, and therefore I order that to be expunged from the record.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and he has whispered an apology to me and I accept it.
The counsel for the county assembly was alleging a presence of a stranger in the representation.
May I explain, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Counsel for the county assembly, are you now comfortable?
To the best of our remembrance is that Mr. Katwa Keegan did indicate his appearance yesterday, and therefore we expect and anticipate that the same shall not be adjusted to suit his circumstances.
Proceed, counsel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
It's okay. This text, insert your full names.
It's okay.
All the people on the right hand.
I, Joseph Doyle Misati, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
We'll proceed directly. Could you tell for the record your full name? Oh, you've given the full names. What do you do for a living?
Me, I am a retired civil servant, and for my living, I've got some small businesses, and I have some dairy cows.
So you have dairy cows. Your son yesterday said you also run an M-Pesa business?
That's it. That's why I've said that I've got small businesses, including M-Pesa.
Okay, I'll just ask so that the Senate has the benefit of understanding you. How old are you, if you don't mind?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am 68 years old.
And you said you're a retired civil servant. What were you doing before your retirement?
Pardon?
What were you doing before your retirement in civil service?
Me, in the civil service, I was a livestock officer in veterinary section.
Okay, and lastly, do you have any religious affiliation and any church standing?
And?
Do you have any religious affiliation and do you enjoy any office in church, if you do?
Mr. Speaker, sir, by religion, I am a Catholic, and even when I was in Form 1, I tried to go to Rakwaro Seminary, where I intended to be a priest, but I fell on the way.
Okay, and so you are a Catholic as we speak now?
Correct.
Okay, and Dennis, who was a witness yesterday, is your son, is it true?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And I would like you to be shown the honorable members, the Deputy Governor's defense, page 59, 59 to 62. I would like you to be shown that page 59 to 62. Do you have it? Could you confirm that is the statement that you made in respect to this case?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Now, do you know Dr. Monda?
Mr. Speaker, sir, very well.
You know him. How do you know him?
His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kis County, Dr. Robert Monda, we have known each other more than 32 years.
You have been friends for over 32 years?
Yeah.
And apart from being friends, have you stated in your affidavit that you worked together also at various points in your civil service?
Mr. Speaker, sir, yes.
You've worked together. Now I'd like to move on because of time, and before we go into the details, yes, you are aware, you know what the Dr. Monda, your friend, has been accused of, being that he received a bribe from your son and that he threatened your son. You're aware of those allegations?
The allegation, I don't, yes.
You are aware?
Yes, I do.
You also heard what your son said in testimony, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so let's start with the first thing that your son admitted. Is it true that indeed throughout the issues that this Senate is going to consider, whenever your son needed anything, he would tell you and then you would tell the Deputy Governor?
No, please.
Did the Deputy Governor have a direct conversation with Dennis?
Mr. Speaker, sir, no.
There's no point at which the two of them spoke directly to each other, isn't it?
It's me who do direct communication to His Excellency, the Deputy Governor.
Okay. And number two, he also said that it is true that the two of you, having been friends, were exchanging favors in terms of money, stocks, and goodwill between the families. Is that correct? Over the 32 years?
Mr. Speaker, sir, correct.
Okay. He also said that he relocated from Nairobi to Kisii, to your home state. Is that correct? At a certain point in the year 2023?
If I may explain, I say no. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is me who reallocated my son to move from Nairobi to homeland Kisii.
Yes, so that's what I was asking you. So basically it is true that he moved from Nairobi to Kisii sometime in the year 2023, isn't it?
Somewhere 2023, and he came alone without his wife.
Okay. And it is also true, as he says, that you assisted him to relocate?
It is me who assisted him.
To relocate?
Yeah.
How did you assist him?
After he said he had been staying in Nairobi for more than 13 years, and there was little communication, me and my son. Now I decided, because I'm aging, I tried now to see how I can bring all my children together. Then I made an effort to look for him. Then somewhere between April and May, between April and May, I called him back to home.
Mr. Misati, just let me manage, because of time, let me just manage what you're saying. So basically it was, whose idea was it for him to relocate?
Pardon?
Whose idea? Was it your idea, or?
It was my idea, Mr. Speaker.
And you facilitated his relocation?
Correct.
Okay, let's move on then. Now, he says that your testimony, both at the assembly and your testimony today, which is captured in your statement, is meant to cause him to lose his money. What do you have to say about that?
That what?
That you want him to lose, what you're doing is to frustrate him getting back his money. What do you have to say about that?
That one, because I've not reached there, I don't know which money.
Okay, okay, then you want us to deal with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll change my approach, then we come back. let's then talk about the real issue that we are here about. Is it true that a certain sum of money was paid out to Dr. Monda on the 28th of May 2023?
Mr. Speaker, yes.
It is true. Could you tell this Senate, this Honorable Senate, how that money was remitted?
Mr. Speaker, sir, on 28th of May 2023, as usual and as friends, it is me who made appointment to see His Excellency the Deputy Governor at his home. And when I went with my 3 sons to his home. And as we were seated, I had some social discussions with His Excellency the Deputy Governor about 20 meters from where I left my sons. That's the time the TG told me that he had given me money somewhere in October, November 2022 after elections, 500 shillings. Now, he asked me whether I am in the position to refund his money. And in that connection, I told him, yes, I can try to refund the money. Then from my joint account with my wife, I transferred money from my account to His Excellency the Deputy Governor 73 times and then 41,000, making 251. Now, because as we were discussing, he told me that he needs some money in cash. Then I told him now, because I don't have money in cash, what I'll do is to instruct my wife so that he can send money to my son Dennis. And my wife did that by sending 250,000 in that process to go on to withdraw in the nearest market. But when we tried to get that money, it was late. And there was no shop which had that float. Therefore, I instructed my son to transfer that money to his deputy governor, to His Excellency the Deputy Governor, Dr. Monda.
Okay. So I would like us to look at your statement and just to take the honorable senators through the payments, and I would like you to go to page 60, paragraph 11 of your statement, and I would like to correlate that with page 65 to 66, page 11 correlated with page 65 to 66. Are you at page 65? Okay, in paragraph 11 you are saying that I therefore refunded by paying 251 directly from my cooperative bank. You can see that at paragraph 11.
Yes, okay. Mr. Speaker.
And then, so you paid 70,000 3 times and 41,000. I would like us to go to page 65. Are you at page 65?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Could you confirm at page 65 that the remittances of 70,000 is reflected 3 times there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And I want you to turn over to page 66. Is it true that 41,000 is shown there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And could you confirm that this is money that was pulled out of your account, the joint account of yourself and your wife, directly to the M-Pesa account of Dr. Monda?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. And the name of the account is Joseph D. Misati and Anna N. Misati, isn't it?
Correct, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Now let's move on to paragraph 12. At paragraph 12, you said, I thereafter asked my wife to remit the balance of 249,000. I instructed her to remit the amount to my son Dennis. You can see that?
Correct, Mr.
I would
Speaker.
like to take you to page 75. '75 to 88, and I want us to go specifically to page 87. Are you at page 87? Your wise M-Pesa statement is page 75 to 88, honorable members, the DG's bundle. And I would like you to go to page 88 particularly. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Could you confirm that between 2001 and 1941, between the hours 1944 and 2001, your wife remitted the sum of 50,000, 50,000, and 150,000 to Dennis Misati as he appears on the face of that M-Pesa?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. And that constitutes a total of how much?
250,000, Mr. Speaker.
250,000. Now, what was the purpose of this remittance of the money?
The purpose of this remittance to my son Dennis.
Sorry, no, I mean, so we've seen you pulled out 250 from your cooperative account,
yes,
and another 250 from your wife through Dennis, isn't it?
That's correct.
And then you sent to Dr. Monda, isn't it?
I instructed my son to
That's
send
okay,
it.
so you sent it to Dr. Monda, this total of 500, isn't it?
Correct, Mr.
What
Speaker.
were you giving this 500,000 to Dr. Monda for? Why
It was a refund, Mr. Speaker, sir, the money which he gave me in November, October 2022.
So it was a refund.
Yeah.
Number two, whose money was this?
The money was mine.
It was
ours.
Sorry?
It was ours.
What does ours mean? Who and who?
Me and my wife.
It was yours, you and your wife.
Yeah.
Was Dennis part of the ownership of that money, the 500,000?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay. Dennis says that he had given you this money and the two of you were holding this money on his behalf and that he gave you in cash. Is that true?
It's untrue, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It's not true that he had given you any money. It is not true that he had given you any money.
It's not true that he gave me any money.
Okay. And this money was yours with your wife?
Correct, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, and your position is that it was a refund. Was it a bribe?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It was a refund, not a bribe.
Yeah, so it was a refund.
Okay. Now, let's just digress a little before we come back to the 300,000. You said, were you seated first of all, you said you went with how many sons?
3.
Was it 3 or 4 sons?
Okay. No, you see now I'm not counting the driver.
Okay. So how many were you? How many sons did you go with? 4. 4 sons. And yourself. You were 5 people in the Deputy Governor's house.
Correct, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Who initiated the idea of going to visit the governor?
Mr. Speaker, sir, it's me.
It is you who said, how did you initiate it?
This is not the first time if I need to.
Because of time, just go answer my question directly.
Pardon?
Just answer my question directly. How was the idea of going to visit the governor?
Through a call.
By who?
By me.
To who?
To His Excellency the Deputy Governor.
So it is you who requested to go and see him?
Correct.
And when your son says in his statement and in his affidavit that it is the Deputy Governor who summoned you, is that correct?
No,
that's not correct, sir. Okay, let's move on. Now, you said, were you then 5 people seated together, 6 people, you, Deputy Governor, and your 4 sons, were you seated together when this money is changing hands?
No, we were not seated together, and I think I'm repeating that after we entered his house, me and His Excellency the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Dr. Robert Monda, we moved aside about 20 meters to have our own social discussions.
So you went aside, the 2 of you?
Correct.
And the boys remained 20 meters away?
That is it.
Did they participate in your conversation?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And so when Dennis says they sat far away from you and that they did not participate in your conversation, that is true?
That is true.
Okay. Now, then at paragraph 14, it is said that you received, there is another 300,000 that was given to the Deputy Governor, paragraph 14. It is said, Dennis says there was another 300,000 that was given in cash. What do you have to say in respect to that 300,000?
Mr. Speaker, sir, that's untrue, because if you look at my balance in the cooperative bank, I had more money if I were to give the 800 alleged.
I just want you to answer directly. Dennis says you and him walked to the Deputy Governor's office at the stadium and handed over 300,000 in cash. That's what Dennis says. You've seen that, isn't it?
Yes.
And my question is that true?
Untrue, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Okay. Did you ever give the Deputy Governor any 300,000 over and above the 500? Is there any other, apart from the 500 that we've seen, is there another 300,000 that you gave him?
There is no anyway. I've given you the 300,000.
As Dennis says. Okay. Now, I would like to move on to, at paragraph 16 to 17, it is said that this issue has been reported to EACC. You are aware of that contention that it has been reported to EACC, isn't it?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You are not aware?
I'm not aware.
But you are aware that Dennis says he has reported to EACC?
Yeah, I have heard.
You've heard from Dennis?
Yeah.
Now, the bank statement, the bank account from which the money was drawn is your cooperative bank account and your wife's M-Pesa account, isn't it?
That's it.
Has EACC summoned you to record a statement on that issue?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
They haven't, up to today.
Up to today.
Has your wife been summoned on this issue?
No, please.
Okay. Now, it is said also that Dennis wrote a demand letter for the payment. You saw that claim by Dennis, isn't it? A demand letter.
I have not seen that letter.
Just a minute. You are aware that Dennis says he wrote a demand letter to the Deputy Governor saying, give me back my 800,000. You saw that claim by Dennis, isn't it?
That claim, yes.
You saw that.
Yeah.
Is it true that you have ever seen a demand letter from Dennis?
Pardon?
Have you seen any letter demanding?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You've not seen. It is said also by Dennis that threats were made at him. Dennis says the Deputy Governor threatened me. You've seen that?
I have not seen that, Mr. Speaker.
And I'm saying you are aware that Dennis says that you threatened him.
Me? I threatened him?
No. So Dennis says that the Deputy Governor threatened him, threatened Dennis.
No, please.
No, I'm saying, are you aware of that claim by Dennis?
I'm aware.
You are aware?
Yes, please.
Now, are you aware of any threat emanating from the Deputy Governor to Dennis?
No, please.
Okay. Now, he says that threat was communicated to you, that the Deputy Governor told you, go and tell Dennis to keep away, or because he's trying to climb a mountain he cannot climb. That's what he says, the words he used. Were you sent by the Deputy Governor at any time to communicate any threat to Dennis?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So when Dennis says the Deputy Governor sent you, your position is that you were never sent with any such threat?
I've never, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Then it is also said that Dennis sold a saloon. Are you aware of any saloon that Dennis had and or sold?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You are not aware. Now, because of time, I'll just be brief on this other issue of other assistance. Is it you heard Dennis say that you have been assisting each other for long, and you've just already admitted that, isn't it?
Correct, Mr. Speaker.
Could you confirm that at paragraph 6 of your affidavit, you said how you have been consoling each other when you are bereaved together with the Deputy Governor? I'm just referring to the paragraph for the benefit of the honorable senators.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And that specifically Dr. Monda was there when you lost your mother, and you are there for him when he lost his daughter. In you lost your mother in the year 2001, and he lost his daughter in 2018, and the two of you were together.
That's correct, Mr.
Okay, in paragraph, at page, and you also borrowed each other acrobat stock as stated in paragraph 5, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And then at page 67 of your bundle, at paragraph 24, you said that in the month of January 2024, over time you've borrowed a total sum of 600,000 from Dr. Monda for various purposes.
Yeah, about 600,000 for my personal use.
And that you've captured at page 68, 71, and 70, the various amounts.
Correct.
Okay. And then at page 117A, at page 117, you've shown there's another amount of 50,000. Could you go to 117? So the one we were just talking about at page 68, 71, and 70 was in the month of January 2024, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then at page 117A, you received another 50,000. Whom did you receive that 50,000 from?
His Excellency, the Baron?
Is it true that you received a sum of 50,000 in the year 2014 from Joyce Monda?
Yes, Your Excellency.
And who is Joyce Monda?
Joyce Monda.
Actually, Joyce Onsare, let's say
Joyce Onsare.
Yes, who is she?
Is the wife of the Deputy Governor of Kisii.
Okay. And what was the basis of this money? What was it?
This is a usual transactions we have been making by borrowing, refunding, receiving, and refunding.
Okay. Lastly, in terms of the favors you give each other, I would like you to look at page 108 to 117. Page 108 to 117 is the bank statement of one Leah Onsare. Can you see that?
Yes.
Page 108 to 117. Who is Leah Onsare?
Leah Onsare.
Leah Nyanjera Onsare. Who is she?
Leah Nyanjera Onsare is the daughter of His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kisii.
And is it at page 111, there is a sum of 200,000 from Joseph, Misati, and Anna. That is your joint account. There is money there is Joseph, Misati, Anna. You can see that?
Yes.
200,000.
Yes.
Yes. Could you tell the court what was happening? Sorry, the Senate. What was happening there?
This money, the DG, he instructed me to send this man to his daughter.
Why?
As usual, we have been assisting each other.
Yes.
Then that day after, she was to refund.
Sorry? She was to refund?
Correct.
Who needed the money?
According to this, it is I was instructed by the DG,
yes,
to send money to his daughter.
Who needed the money? Was it the DG or what is the position?
The money was needed by his daughter.
So the daughter needed money, and why wasn't the DG sending the money to his daughter?
That one I cannot explain.
You can't explain?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mr. Misati, just look at me. Did you see the Deputy Governor instructed you? Was he giving you instructions or he was requesting you?
Okay, you know English. He requested me.
So he wasn't instructing you?
Not instructing, please.
Okay. And lastly, I now was told I have 5 minutes. Lastly, you said that your son said you were lying. Unasema uongo ukikuja hapa. What do you have to say about that you are lying?
That's, I can say, yes. That's not true.
You're not lying.
No, I love all my sons.
Yes.
I have 6 sons in total.
Yes.
And all of them except one.
Yes.
They have gone through, they are graduates, others have done masters.
All your children are graduates, others are postgraduate already.
Correct.
Masters. And you love all of them?
I love them equally. That's why you can also establish this.
Yes.
That's why I usually, when I want to go to some place, they accompany me.
they take you with them because you are munapendana.
That's it.
And you relocated Dennis' wife from Nairobi?
And I think if I may repeat, that if when somebody is trying to...
I am out of time. I just want to say,
okay,
was it out of
me?
Yes. Was it out of a desire to punish him or out of affection that you needed to take care of his welfare?
I wanted just to come near me and get some blessings before.
Okay. To take blessings, yeah. Before what again?
No, that was unlimited.
You want to withdraw that?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about appearing here with your son before a national senate to banter words with him? How do you feel?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm really very sad.
You're very sad?
Very sad because this is my son and it's me who paid his school fees to his daughter who is schooling at St. Mary's Nyabururu body.
So you take care of the fees for his daughter?
Yeah.
And is there any relationship between the paying of fees for his daughter and the 600 you borrowed from Dr. Monda in January 2024?
The 600 which His Excellency the Deputy Governor gave me in January in various dates, some of the money I used to pay school fees for my granddaughters, including the Dennis's daughter.
Okay.
Only, you can allow me, only after paying school fees, my son disappeared from my home.
Okay, so your son has disappeared. My time has gone out, so I just want to hand you over for cross-examination. But before I do that, could you confirm, even after this session, do you still love your son? Do you still love him, notwithstanding these proceedings?
That is my son. I love him.
Yes.
And I want him to come back with his wife.
Yes. And they said his wife had a miscarriage. Are you aware of that?
You know, some things like that one, I cannot say because I can say no.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's only that she told me that she was sick.
Yes.
And then I took her to the hospital and I used money.
So you relocated him from Nairobi, you paid for his daughter, you took care of his wife.
Correct.
And you are prepared to continue doing that?
Always.
Okay. And are you happy to have your sons, including Dennis?
That's my son, and I'm very happy
about
because
that.
You saw that yesterday when I met him, he knows me.
Okay, I'm handing you over, but it is lucky that you didn't become a priest, isn't it? Then you didn't have Dennis and the others.
Pardon?
I'm told that my time is up. You will be asked a couple of questions by my colleague. They might not be as polite as I am, but just be strong.
Honorable Senators, let us now have the council representing the County Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's always a pleasure to listen to my senior.
Mr. Council, you have 15 minutes.
Yes, Mr. Mutembei will take the witness. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I want to assure my learned friend, I'll be very kind to Mr. Misati. I respect him and I will accord him that respect. Thank you. Mr. Misati, good morning.
Morning to you.
I will continue from where my learned friend has left. You confirmed that you are aware that the wife to Dennis got sick at some moment and you intervened by taking her to hospital.
I said yes.
When was that?
I cannot recall the date, Mr. Speaker, sir. But it was
this year or last year?
Somewhere June.
Somewhere June?
Yeah.
That was last year? Last year in June?
2023.
2023. And that is the time when the announcement was made on the filling of the recruitment at the Guasco company, isn't it?
No, please.
Is it after or before?
It is after.
After, thank you.
You have also said that you have been long-term friends with the deputy governor, and that is very clear from your transactions. That 2 years you said, right?
Correct, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You have been colleagues and he has been your boss and you under him in the veterinary department, correct?
That is true, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And you continued and extended that friendship beyond retirement?
Even up to now?
Even up to now. You would describe that friendship to be very tight and very close, isn't it?
That's one, it's very relative.
But how would you describe it? He is your friend.
Friend?
That friendship is close and tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very tight. You would not want then to witness your tight, close friend going down through an impeachment process.
That's very true.
Would you want to see your close, tight friend of that 2 years go down through an impeachment process? Would you like to see that?
He's a friend, of course, and anything which is against him, I would never wish that.
Thank you. So then you will do whatever is it within your powers to defend and protect him when he's faced with challenges, like he has stood up for you previously.
But not through instructions.
Not through instructions.
Yeah.
But he is your friend and that's something you would willingly do.
It's a willing behavior.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have also said that, and while I'm still at that, you have confirmed in your affidavit appearing at page 59 of the DG's response that you have been asking favors from each other, including seeking job opportunities for your children. Is that correct?
Like any other person.
But in this case, we are talking about you, not any other person.
That's correct.
That's correct. So you've been seeking those favors?
Not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
Specifically, in this case, you have deponed on affidavit that you did approach the deputy governor and ask him to assist in the employment of your son, Dennis Mokaya. That is your evidence, correct?
That's true.
That is true.
Yes.
So you're not disputing that you approached him and you promised to assist?
I cannot dispute that one, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Which position were you asking him to assist in the recruitment?
Okay, somewhere in April 2023, there was an advert at Wasco, of which I saw it through the newspapers. And because I was trying to bring my son back home, and then I informed my son to go through the website and look for the application.
So it was you who approached your son and notified him of a possible vacancy at Guasco?
It is me who informed my son.
Thank you. And subsequently you asked the deputy governor before shortlisting to assist in that recruitment?
No, please. Me, I went to a governor's place after the interview was done.
After the interview was done, correct, at whatever time. Now, the deputy governor of Kisii does not sit in the interviewing panel of Guasco, does he?
Okay, that one.
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. Does he or does he not sit in the recruitment panel of Guasco? Yes or no?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
How was the deputy governor supposed to assist in the recruitment of your son if he does not sit in that panel?
By that, Mr. Speaker, sir, in any case when you are having some social discussion, there are some things you pass through your friend.
I am asking you a very simple question. How was the deputy governor supposed to assist in the recruitment for an office he is not in charge of recruitment? How was he supposed to assist? It's a very simple question. How was he supposed to assist?
You know, what I can repeat is that when you have got something and you have some social discussions with your friend, you just mention by By the way.
You were inviting the deputy governor to use his power and influence to secure that job, isn't it? As the deputy governor of Kisii.
That one I never influenced.
That is not what I'm asking. The governor was supposed to use his position as the deputy governor to assist in the recruitment, isn't it?
That one I can say yes or no.
It cannot be both, Mr. Witness. We cannot have two
answers. Just give the correct position. What is your position on the questions that you are being asked? These are very strange questions you are asked anyway.
He was supposed to use his position to assist the recruitment of your son as your friend, isn't it?
He was not to use his position, but he was to use as a friend, not a position of a deputy governor.
But he was supposed to ensure that happens.
That one I cannot say because he never got the job.
But suppose he got the job. I'm talking about your request. What was he supposed to do in your understanding to make sure that that job was secured?
What he was to do, that one I cannot tell.
But he was supposed to pull some strings and ensure that happens.
In any way, the way it was to use, I cannot tell the House.
But somehow he was supposed to use some means to have that request.
If he was to use his way or strength or his position, I would have gotten that position.
Thank you. Mr. Misati, then, if the deputy governor was to intervene in that process of recruitment, would that process be competitive, fair, and just, or it would have been as a result of influence from his position as the deputy governor?
What we are talking now is what happened.
Pardon?
What we are talking now, Mr. Speaker, sir, is what happened.
Yes.
And if the position was competitive and my son was not taken, therefore he never qualified.
But the deputy governor was meant to influence the outcome based on your request, because you did not want any other person to get that job but your son, isn't it?
But you know, influence very relative, Mr. Speaker, sir. I can say that
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Chair, I think you need to remind the witness that he is under oath and his responsibility to answer truthfully and not be evasive or argumentative in his answers. Because I'm getting very frustrated listening to the answers. I am unable to discern the answers that are coming from the witness.
Okay, Senator Sifuna, from where I sit, you know, I cannot be able to tell whether it is truthful or not, but he should.
That's what I'm saying.
What he should do is to answer specific questions as they
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Questions are just a yes or no.
Correct.
From where I sit, I cannot be able to tell whether it is truthful or not. The judges in this room will be able to.
Speaker, fortunately for me, you know, I'm seated here as a judge.
Senator.
Yes, please let him just answer the question.
I don't want to open that route. I've ruled that the witness should answer questions directly as he is asked. Let us not go to that route of more point of understanding, honorable senators.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Witness, when you approached your friend of that 2 years, the deputy governor of Kisii, on this request, what was his response?
Mr. Speaker, sir, as I've mentioned earlier, when I went to his home, it's only that we discussed some social discussions, including looking for employment opportunities of education.
Mr. Witness, my question is specifically, when you made the request for Dennis Mokaya to be employed at Guasco as the commercial manager, what was the response of the deputy governor? It's a very clear question, please avoid stories.
Okay, when I mentioned, he just told me that there are some factors which follow for any employment, and if he has done the interview and he qualifies according to what the board of management of WASCO, he will be called.
Did he promise to assist or not?
He never promised that he was to assist me.
Let us proceed. You have alleged that on 28th of May, you and Dennis, together with your other sons, visited the deputy governor's home, correct?
Mr. Speaker, yes.
It was not usual for you and your sons to visit the deputy governor. It doesn't happen occasionally, isn't it?
It is usual.
When was the last time you and your sons visited the deputy governor?
Okay.
Specifically Dennis.
Yes.
With Dennis.
Okay, Dennis, I told you that he has been away for the last 13 years.
Correct.
Now, as he came back, I want just to show him the love I own towards him. In any function I was going, I want to go with him, with others.
That was not a function, Mr. Joseph. It was a visit. Was it a function?
It's a feast. A function, a feast, and anything like that.
What was the function about?
A function can be a funeral.
I'm asking this specific one on 28th. Was it a funeral?
No, it was a feast.
Was it a wedding?
It was a feast.
What kind of a feast was it?
Social feast.
How many other people in attendance, apart from you and your sons?
No, there were other feasters who were in a DG's house.
You have not mentioned that in your affidavit.
But those ones were of their own company. I cannot mention because I never knew their names.
You also stated that on that very day, you had a discussion with the deputy governor, and the boys, making reference to your sons, sat at a distance and you engaged the deputy governor secretly, correct?
That is true, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You also stated that you sent some money from, or rather money was sent from your cooperative account to the deputy governor's mobile number. How much was that amount? The one that was sent directly from your account to the deputy governor's phone.
Mr. Speaker, sir, 251,000.
251,000.
Yeah.
At that time, your account still had money, a balance of 1.3 million, correct?
Correct.
What was the essence of then requesting your wife to send money directly to Dennis, for Dennis to transmit to the deputy governor, when you would have done that directly from your cooperative account if it was a debt?
Mr. Speaker, sir, it was for my financial management.
Your financial management?
Yes.
You also stated in your affidavit that, and I want to refer you to paragraph 12 and kindly read that paragraph. Page 60, Honorable Senators, at the DG's response. This is what you stated under oath. Paragraph 12. Kindly read, Mr. Joseph, at several times.
I then asked my wife to remit the balance of 249,000. I instructed her to remit the amount to my son Dennis Misati for him to pay as we sat together. My wife then sent 250,000 to my son Dennis Misati on the same date by remitting remittances of 50,000, 50,000 again, and 150,000, making a total of 250,000.
Proceed to that team.
Then I instructed my son to remit that's an error there, 249,000 to His Excellency the Robert Monda, which he did. The balance of 1,000 partly to cover transaction charges.
There is no mention whatsoever in your affidavit on oath, Mr. Joseph, that money was first sent to your son to go and withdraw and bring it in cash. That is not stated in this affidavit, is it? You instructed your son specifically to send the money to the deputy governor. That is your statement on oath, isn't it?
That is, Mr. Speaker, sir.
That is your statement on oath, yes or no?
No.
That is what you have just read, Mr. Joseph, and there's a reason why I made you to read. This is what you stated specifically under oath when you had the time to prepare this statement. Isn't it what you stated on oath?
Yes, this is what I stated, but...
Thank you. You have answered the question. This is what you stated.
Correct.
You have now come to the Senate and you're changing that statement.
I'm not changing. It's after the discussion when we are with His Excellency the Deputy Governor that he needed some cash.
Mr. Misati, correct. That discussion had taken place by the time you were putting this affidavit into writing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that fact was available to you when you were writing this affidavit. Mr. Speaker, sir, kindly, may I have an additional 5 minutes?
Much humility. This communication was well put before we started this witness. And you are aware that still we are challenged by time.
5 more minutes, I really beg.
The former chair was here and done a very good communication, and I don't want to change the rules of the game midway.
Mr. Speaker,
maybe 1 minute as you wind up.
Kindly 5, because this has been a difficult witness to answer your question.
2 minutes, Council. 2 minutes only.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Now, you had that information by the time you were reducing it into an affidavit, isn't it? You had that information that the Deputy Governor had requested for cash and not through an M-Pesa. That information was with you when you were writing this affidavit.
It was, but...
Thank you. That's the answer I wanted. Yet you did not reduce it in writing. You are telling us for the first time today at the Senate, isn't it? Today is the first time you're making that allegation at the Senate. That is a very simple question, isn't it?
Correct.
Thank you. You also stated that you were in the company of your other sons, and one of them is your driver, correct?
That's it, Mr. Speaker, sir.
What is the name of your son who is also your driver?
Misati.
That is the person who runs your errands and is very close to you because he's always with you, we presume, as a driver, isn't it?
That's very untrue.
He's always with you as your driver.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think he's lying.
I am asking a question. How would I be lying? I am not giving evidence. Are you telling us that your own son who is your driver is not your close friend and you're not with him most of the times as you make your movements?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Is that yes or it's a yes or no?
But I've got some period explanation before I say yes or no.
Must give a yes or no, then I will decide whether to allow you to explain or not.
Can you repeat your question?
I am asking, most of the times, this son you have who is your driver is with you and runs errands with you. True or it's correct?
No, that's not true.
Mr. Witness, is there a place you go without him as your driver? You do not drive yourself, he drives you.
Okay. Everywhere I go, because I don't have any other person to drive me, my son who is at home and who is yet to be employed and who is older than Dennis, he always takes me where I want to go.
That's what you should have said from the very beginning.
So your 2 minutes are over.
Thank you. The very last one.
Just
on that issue, I was building up on that issue. Just
you are using my magnanimity. Kindly let us get the other council.
There will be a lot of prejudice on my part if I do not conclude on that issue. Mr. Speaker, you will note that this has been a very
difficult... It's up to you to utilize the 2 minutes that I give you.
Thank you.
You know, if you keep on asking for more time and I've directed you what to do, why don't you shoot your questions that you want to achieve?
The problem, Mr. Speaker,
I think, honorable senators, if the witness, as those witnesses, you are the people to determine this case. So honorable, I don't want you to direct the witness on what to say or not what to say. And please avoid exchanging with the chair, minority leader. Let us just give me time to manage this process. This is not the issue of which side or what. Please, I beg you. Let me have the other counsel.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if you may allow me as the lead counsel, the defense still has 6 more witnesses. The rest of the witnesses, time has been allocated 15 minutes each. We will sacrifice one witness, we will not cross-examine him, and then we allocate that time to this witness, the 15 minutes. We will not cross-examine one of the MCAs, so that we are able to do justice to this case through this witness. That's the compromise we shall make.
Can you give me the name of the member of County Assembly that you want to see in the 15 minutes for record purposes?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in place of Thomas Obare Nyabaro, we will not cross-examine that witness. We will equally not cross-examine Amos Obegi Oderi. So we'll have 30 minutes extra for this witness. We shall allocate 15 minutes to this one and 15 minutes to the Deputy Governor. Post-trading.
Yes, I'll give you 15 minutes for the first one. For Thomas, I'll place 15 minutes, strictly 15 minutes, Council.
We are most obliged.
No addition, no subtraction.
It's good horse trading.
Maybe you can use less, but you can't use more than 15 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. You notice that this is a key witness that needs to be thoroughly cross-examined. Mr. Misati.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You have confirmed that your son, who is your driver, is mostly with you when you are running your errands, correct?
Running my what?
Errands. When you are going about your businesses, he is the one who is close to you, he is the one who is at home, he is your driver, correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Why was it then important for you to send money to Dennis, who is not that close to you, than use your own driver who had a car to go and withdraw that money and bring back?
Mr. Speaker, sir, because the Deputy Governor, His Excellency, Dr. Robert Munda, in our discussion, he said that he needs some cash instead of going to M-Pesa. That is the time I decided that the money was to remit it to a younger person who will be able to run quickly to the...
Mr. Witness, could your son run faster than your car that is being driven by your own son?
But
is that what you're telling these senators?
Mr. Speaker,
that indeed Dennis was capable of running faster than a driver with a car?
Mr. Speaker, sir, as we have said that I've used Charlotte Misati to be my driver, and that's indicating the most trusted to me. In terms of managing it, I wanted also to show my son, Dennis Misati, that I love him through sending that man to also act on that.
Thank you. That has been noted. You have also claimed at paragraph 24, Honorable Senators appearing at page 61, that the amount of money that you sent to Dr. Monda was part of the 600,000 that he had lent you, correct? At paragraph 24. You have alleged at paragraph 24 that previously you had received 600,000 from Dr. Monda, correct?
That's in January.
That's in January.
Yes.
And you're claiming that part of that money went to pay school fees for Dennis's child, correct?
Among other expenses.
How much money did you spend as school fees to the child of Dennis Okaya?
Mr. Speaker, sir.
How much money did you? It's a very straightforward.
60,000 shillings.
60,000 shillings.
Yeah.
and you confirm that it is you who paid that amount directly from your own affidavit.
No,
that is what you state. Can you read that paragraph again? The last sentence, please, and save our time. The amounts were partly, proceed from there. 24.
The amounts were partly used to help my son Dennis and the special fees.
Proceed.
Fees for his child that I personally paid.
Thank you. You personally paid that amount, isn't it? Correct? Which account did you pay to? What was the mode of payment? And do you have evidence of payment of that amount?
Here, Mr. Speaker, sir, payment, it looks relative. It's only that the money originated from me, and
Mr. Misati, I only have 15 minutes and I want to utilize that very effectively. I am asking you a very specific question. To what account did you pay? The school's account, what mode, and where is the evidence? It's a very straightforward. Please do not bring stories. We do not have time for that.
The money of the 60,000 plus other monies which I paid for my...
We are specific on the 60,000 paid personally by you to the school.
The money of 60,000 paid to pay school fees of my granddaughter, I gave it to one of my sons, including other money to one to pay the account.
Misati, you've just read to us paragraph 24 that you personally paid. Isn't that what you read? On oath.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
No. Kindly save our time, Mr. Misati. Isn't that what you read? That you personally paid 60,000?
Personally paid, it's very relative also, Mr. Speaker, sir. But not to indicate where I put the money. I gave the money and my son took it to the bank.
Thank you. I urge the House to take note of the conduct of the witness and allow me to proceed. What is the name of your granddaughter?
Zelda Kwamboka Mukaya.
How old is she?
She's, I think, 13 years.
Where is she currently?
It's a new took her to St.
Where is she currently?
Currently now?
Yes.
I cannot tell because when my son disappeared, I don't know where they went. But what the previously, it is moved to her to Nyaburu.
Thank you. I yield the rest of the minutes to my learned friend, Mr. Njiro.
Thank you, Mr. Mutuma. Mr. Witness, I want you to have a look at the bundle of the document by the County Assembly. Honorable Senators, I'm referring to page 184. Witness, I have 7 minutes to deliver this. These are Hanson's for the 29th of August from the County Assembly. Mr. Witness, I want you to have a look at the last paragraph where Honorable Deputy Governor is answering. But before I go to that, excuse me, I have not put the question. When the Deputy Governor asked you to refund the 500,000 shillings, what did he tell you the money was meant for?
Pardon?
When he asked you to return the 500,000 shillings he had lent you, what did he tell you it was meant for?
Mr. Speaker, sir, he told me that he has got some functions he was to use for that money.
He had functions. Which functions in particular?
Including that he was trying to go outside of the country.
He was going out of the country.
Correct.
So the money was specifically meant to go out of the country, yes?
Among other things.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Are those other things that you're referring to the issues that you're discussing to, and more specifically, the forwarding of the money, 100,000 shillings to one Lucy? Are you aware or you're not aware? You are not aware. I want you to have a look at page 185, 189 of the same bundle. And the Deputy Governor traveled. Are you aware whether he traveled, he never traveled?
You know,
are you aware or you're not aware?
I'm not aware.
Thank you.
Yes.
Look at page 189 of the same bundle, honorable members.
the bundle by the County Assembly, Volume 1. Page 185, 189, I'm sorry, beg your pardon. 189. The Hansons for the 29th.
What?
Hansons.
Wait.
Who made the request for assistance? Who made the request?
Of assistance of what?
Yes, of you to be assisted for Dennis to secure a job.
It's me, Mr. Speaker, sir.
To whom did you make it to? Did you make it to your friend Dr. Monda or to the Deputy Governor of Kisii County?
My friend Dr. Monda.
Where was that job supposed to come from? From his farm, from his shop, or from the county government?
Mr. Speaker, sir.
I have asked you two issues. Where was the job supposed to come from?
From the county government.
Thank you. Look at paragraph where we have the Honorable Deputy Governor. Yes, can you see that? Here?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, would you read out? What's the Deputy Governor saying?
Honorable Deputy Governor.
Can you see where he's saying, Mr. Speaker, sir? Mr. Speaker, just as a good friend. Yes?
Mr. Speaker, sir, as great friends, Mr. Joseph and I, somewhere in April 1st, was made to know that there is advert that has come up in the Wasco and Misati, as a friend could ask me that his son has also tendered his application.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In this respect, which son is the Deputy Governor making reference to?
Dennis.
Dennis. Proceed. Can you see where my senior Mr. Kato Kigen is saying, so he requested if you could assist? Can you see?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And what does the governor say? Does he say yes, that you made the request? Can you see that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Proceed to read. And did you talk to Lucy about the request about your friend? That's Mr. Kato Kigen asking the Deputy Governor. Yes?
Baron?
That is my landed friend, Mr. Kato Kigen, asking the Deputy Governor whether the Deputy Governor spoke to Lucy. Can you see that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And what was his answer?
Honorable Deputy Governor, like any other leader, Mr. Speaker, sir, this request came to me. Everyone, honorable members, know that Lucy is a Wasco, would work under like any.
Yes.
Where is this?
Next page. Lucy would work.
Where is it?
It's possible for you not to say now.
Like any other staff who under the governor's office, where I'm also the deputy governor.
So he acknowledges that Lucy works under the governor's office, and that Mr. Monda is also under the same office. Yes, that's the acknowledgement. Yes or no?
As it is.
Thank you. Proceed.
Read to the governor and so indicated to Lucy.
So I indicated to Lucy, yes, asking her if they had such kind of jobs, and she said yes. And as a friend, making a request that he get his sons a job, like every one of us here would do. And she told me, let us wait for the process. If he qualifies, we shall not deny him a job. Yes, is that the discussion?
According to this, yes.
Are you aware that the Deputy Governor, your dear friend whom you have come to defend this morning, sent 100,000 shillings to Lucy? Are you aware or you're not aware?
I'm not aware.
Would it therefore surprise you that part of the money that you sent to him that day was shared with one Lucy? I will surprise you?
I will be surprised.
You will not be surprised. Thank you. Have a look at your affidavit. The affidavit appearing, that is the Deputy Governor's bundle of document. The Deputy Governor's bundle of document at page 60. Mr. Witness, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Have a look at paragraph 12 and kindly read it out.
And then I asked my wife to remit the balance of 249. I instructed her to remit the amount to my son, Dennis Misati, for him to pay.
Thank you. That is what I want us to explain. For him to do what?
To pay.
What was he paying?
The refund.
No, excuse me. Is it to refund or to pay? Do you understand English, Mr. Witness?
English is for the lawyers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are now, I'll now teach you. And therefore,
all the senators,
I put it to you that there is a difference between the statement to pay and to refund. Yes? And therefore, because you have preserved the English for us lawyers, I put it to you that the two words have different meanings. Yes?
It is very difficult for me to understand.
I therefore put it to you that paying is different from refunding.
According to you, yes?
And therefore, I further put it to you that the word payment being used here is the corruption and the bribery for your son to succeed with a job. Yes?
Payment is not a bribe. It will depend on which context it is.
In this context now. Thank you.
That's wrong.
Let us have a look at page 111 of the same battle by DG. But page 111, which is a statement by Lea Nyachera Onsari.
Yes.
A statement from Cooperative Bank. Yes?
Correct.
You are the one who has brought this document, correct?
That's it. No.
It's not you who has brought the document.
It's not me who brought this statement.
Where did it come from?
It came from Lea Onsari.
Is she a witness in these proceedings?
That one I'm not aware.
I put it to you that she is not a witness.
You have said so.
But now, Mr. Witness, who sent this money to Lea?
It's me and my wife from the joint account.
Upon whose request?
Upon the Deputy Governor's request.
So the Deputy Governor asked you to send the 200,000 shillings, yes?
Correct.
Did you ask him what it was meant for?
That was his personal use.
So if I put it to you that your Deputy Governor for whom you so love is a person who has insatiable desire for resources, and that is why he's always in a begging mood, what would you say?
Mr. Speaker, sir, that is very untrue.
Thank you. No further questions.
Council, you have, for the Deputy Governor, you have 10 minutes for the examination.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Sorry.
Yes, Senator Bun.
Speaker, my point of order is to appeal to you, and the appeal is arising from the provisions of the rules of procedure. I invite you to look at rule number 22. Mr. Speaker, I'm appealing to you that you vacate your direction that in order to accommodate the time constraints, the Council for the County Assembly should lose its opportunity to cross-examine two witnesses. 22 says, a witness presented shall be led in evidence, cross-examined, and where necessary, and only for purposes of clarification of issues that may have arisen in cross-examination may be re-examined. Mr. Speaker, with the long years of experience in this Parliament, I know that whatever decision we make here is still open to being challenged in the High Court. And there, if we are going to be found to have breached our own rules, then our very ultimate decision is open to being challenged. We are not going to die from...
So what is your point of order, Senator Boni? Are you suggesting that the witness should not be re-examined?
Yes, it looks like you are not listening to me.
Because if you read 22,
let me make my point.
Is addressing.
This is serious, Mr. Speaker.
Rule 22 is addressing close examination. Just in case there are issues of clarifications, the witness is...
I know. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you listen to me, you'll see where I'm going. The point I'm making is that vacate your ruling that two witnesses...
Now, Senator Boni, I mean that ruling and you should really sit down. Yes,
Mr. Speaker, sir, I will not take that.
I cannot vacate my ruling. Sorry.
But that is why I'm rising to pay attention to provisions of rule, but the rules of procedure, 22.
What you are quoting, 22, is not addressing that matter completely.
It is.
Are you challenged also in this English language?
Am I?
Let me give Senator Chalage his
Mr. Speaker,
have your seat, kindly. Senator Boni Karwale. Senator Boni Karwale, resume your seat. I want you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. We are cautioned because the Bible says, Mr. Speaker, we should not serve the law. The law should serve us. In our ruling number 30 of the same, on the procedures, you have the power to determine on a particular question, or but not limited to question of evidence, materiality, relevance, competency, or admissibility of evidence, and any question constitutional or incidental thereof. So Mr. Speaker, your ruling is Solomonic, and it should not be vacated. In any case, the traditional precedent, the issue raised by my brother, Senate Majority Whip, is overtaken by events. That matter is stopped from being discussed, Mr. Speaker, and therefore I request that we proceed as you have directed, Mr. Speaker.
Let's proceed now, kindly, Senator Sifuna. On 1 minute.
One point, I wanted to calm the nerves of my senior, Honorable Khalwale, that far from the big words that Senator Cherargei wants to use, he has actually not shed any light on the issue. I wanted to calm his anxiety by explaining that if a party has chosen to waive their right to cross-examination, there really is no problem. So it is them who have requested to waive that right to cross-examine those two, not under pressure, so that they can focus their attention on other witnesses they believe would better advance the argument. So, Mr. Speaker, you are just okay. You are struggling, but you are okay.
Now you are out of order, Senator Sifuna. Senator Sifuna, you are out of order. Can you withdraw that last point? Can you withdraw?
Speaker, it was with a light note, but I withdraw and apologize. You are a man of substance.
Council, let's proceed. 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I trust my 10 minutes start running now.
From now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Joseph Misati.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
A number of questions were put to you, whether you defend the DG whatever he wants, that you act on his instructions, and that you do anything. And the question I want to ask you directly is, would you go out of your way to defend the truth, or you would go out of your way to defend? What are you defending today? Is it the truth or the Deputy Governor?
The truth, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You are standing for the truth.
That's it, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And all you said is based on your truth.
Pardon?
What you are standing on is what you believe to have been the true position.
My true position in this case...
Asema, just confirm that what you said is based on what you know to be the truth. It has nothing to do with whether or not you want to help the deputy governor, isn't it?
That's it, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, the second issue I want to put to you is you were asked by my colleagues whether the deputy governor made to you a promise that your son would get a job. And I want you to just confirm that for emphasis. Did he make any promise to you?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The questions were also put to you. Did you know what or how you do or how you do what you wanted to do to assist your son get a job? Did you know?
No.
You didn't know. Did he promise to use his position to get a job for your son?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay. Move on to another question. You asked whether you usually make visits to the deputy governor with your sons. And what is your answer?
Correct, that's true.
You normally visited?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you asked, Dennis said yesterday that that was the first time he had gone to the deputy governor's house. That's what he said. Do you have an explanation for that proposition?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. As it is said that my son, Dennis Misati, it was his first time to go with him to deputy governor.
Mr. Speaker, we want to object to that line because it never came out during cross-examination. During cross-examination, the witness must be tailored to answer to the questions that have come from cross-examination. He cannot introduce a new ground that we never dealt with in cross-examination. He is re-examining the witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, all I am doing is reacting to the proposition that was put to the witness as to whether he normally goes with his sons to visit the deputy governor or otherwise whether that was the first time and distinguishes the rest of the visits. And so I'm just making the point as to whether or not indeed he has been visiting, and if Dennis was making the first visit as opposed to the other sons, what is the explanation? That's all I'm doing, Mr. Speaker, sir. I pray that you...
And I stick to that lane.
Yes, thank you very much.
You have a lot of experience.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I don't want you to be very verbose. Could you just answer the question? Why was it that Dennis was going there for the first time that day?
Mr. Speaker, sir, earlier I stated that my son has been away from, he has been in Nairobi for more than 13 years.
So the reason why you had not gone with him is because he has been away from Kisii in the neighborhood of the visit, isn't it?
Correct, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I would like to move on. You've been asked why you chose Dennis to receive the M-Pesa as opposed to Jared, whom you have always worked with. What is your answer to that? Why did you choose Dennis?
Mr. Speaker, sir, when you have got a number of children, you must balance in how you can love them. In that context, you can see that Jared is the person who has been driving me. Here is Dennis who has come. Because of that, I want just to show Dennis that I love him by sending that money. In other words, not loving because I sent the money. It is just to indicate that I must balance in my love towards my sons.
So you are showing love and trust, that you trust all of them?
I trust all of them.
And you love them, all of them?
And I love them equally.
And you continue to do that?
That's it, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, you were taken to task on the contents of paragraph 24 of your affidavit, and I would like you to look at that. If you remember again, your affidavit is at page 59, and I would like you to go to, I would like us to visit paragraph 24. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, an issue was taken on the point you make that, and especially fees for his child, and I personally paid. You've seen that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
What did you mean by saying you personally paid?
Personally, it means from my pocket to any other.
So your point is that the money that was paid, was used to pay your grandchild's fees was yours?
It was mine, that's what I mean.
And how was the money transmitted? How was it remitted to the school account?
I gave one of my sons to one that remitted the money.
So one of your sons went. But in the meantime, whose money was that son of yours taking?
one of my sons, Dennis.
Saying, so you've given your son to go and pay in the account of the school, isn't it?
Yes.
Whose money was your son carrying?
My money.
Yeah, okay. Now, I would like to move on to page 189 of the county government's bundle. And that is the Hansard, and particularly I would like us to look at page 190 of that Hansard.
Yeah.
Paragraph. Now, could we, I would like could you confirm that it is not you, but rather is the Deputy Governor talking, starting from page, could you confirm that it is the Deputy Governor talking from page 189 into 190, the paragraph that was read to you? Is it you or it is Deputy Governor talking?
It is the Deputy Governor, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, and can you answer for the words of the Deputy Governor, or it is for the Deputy Governor to answer for
That's why I was unable.
Yes, it is for him to answer. Now, I would like us to read the last sentence of the Deputy Governor's statement running from page 189 to 190. Could you read this last paragraph? And she told me,
let us wait for the process, and if he qualifies, he shall not deny him the job. And the discussion ended there.
So the Deputy Governor is saying he talked to the Managing Director of the water company, and the Managing Director of the water company said, we await the process, and if he qualifies, we will not deny him.
As it is here?
Yes, it is there. Now, I want to take you back to, this is my last question, I want to take you back to the 28th. When you met, wakati mlikuwa mnaongea kwa nyumba.
28.
Did you say 28th of May? Did you say, and I'm quoting the words you used, don't, I'm just reminding you what you said a few minutes ago. Did you say that the Deputy Governor told you there are factors that exist to get a job?
That's correct.
He said there are factors. There are factors, kuna vitu zenye zinahitajika ndio upate kazi.
Correct, Mr. Speaker.
Is that consistent with what we've just read at page 190 of the Hansard?
That's it.
That the director said it depends on whether he qualifies.
Those are the factors, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to leave my re-examination there. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You done, Counsel, with the witness?
Yes, I'm done, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So, for this particular witness, I want to give a few senators to seek clarification. My dashboard is full, so I'm kindly requesting whether we can agree, we do it 4-4, both sides, so that we can make progress. We start with Senator Oroba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to Joseph. You said you have 6 sons. You have 6 sons, yes?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And your wife is the biological mother to all of these 6 sons.
Ask through the speaker so that he can respond to you. You know you...
Okay. That is one of my questions. I'd like to know if your wife, who you're referencing, is the biological mother to all of the 6 sons, including Dennis. And my next question, Mr. Speaker, goes to Senior Counsel. Senior Counsel, I don't know whether you are conversant with Article 76 of our Constitution. In reference to page 61 of the DG's volume, page 61, from paragraph 24, 25, and 26, where we have been subjected to this relationship of 2 personal friends who are giving favors to each other in form of soft loans. My question to senior counsel in relevance to Article 76, where it highlights that a public officer should not use his office in any manner, particularly financial sense, on soft loans to erode the public confidence in favor of a personal interest. Would you agree with me that from what you have showcased here, particularly page 61, 24, 25, and 26, that the Deputy Governor has actually gone against Article 76 of the Constitution? And finally, the last one, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the money being transferred, my question is, why didn't the Deputy Governor just withdraw the cash and refund directly?
You are 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, continue. Let's, there are two questions. One to the council, the other one to the witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as it has been raised, Dennis Misati is biological father.
So let us not introduce new things which were not in the, some relevance which were not on the presentations. So I want you to avoid about those biological issues you have been asked to do. Because they did not arise, because they are seeking clarifications. No. Proceed with, answer the any relevant question that you have been asked. But about the children and whether they are biological, no.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you very much to have served me that way. It's only that to bring who is the mother, who is the father.
The second question was directed at me in terms of the provisions of Article 76 of the Constitution and the need for propriety of conduct by. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, can I proceed? Thank you very much. In terms of the question as to whether the Deputy Governor conducted himself properly within the intention of Article 76, our answer is that he completely conducted himself properly. It is our understanding, first of all, we are not making an admission that this money was meant to make any influence. It was a mere refund. It is our position that borrowings between friends is not prohibited by Article 76. It is our position also that if it were to have been the case that it was meant to be a bribe, yes, that's when you can invoke Article 76. But our position is that it was not a bribe, it was a friendly loan between the two of them, and it was a refund that was happening on the 28th of May. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Let's have Senator Wabua Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, three straight questions to the witness.
Take your 2 minutes.
Yes. One, Mr. Witness, what was the role of your sons in your visit to the DG's home? Because they have accompanied you, they have stayed away from you, and you've gone back, they have not even heard what you have discussed. What was their role in that visit? Secondly, to the best of your knowledge, is there a personal relationship between your son Dennis and the DG? And when you are sending him money, allegedly, to send to the DG, did you also give him the DG's cell phone number? Number three, is it your evidence on record and on oath that your son has cooked up a story to malign a person that he has no personal relationship with? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for the love of my children, I usually move with them when they are at home or when they are in the weekend together when we want to visit any other friend. Number two,
get the other questions. So Senator Zeta has avoided so many questions to the witness because
the second one was what?
No, maybe you can write down even one word so that you remember. But the assistant there can be able to assist. Not necessarily the counsel, but the assistant who is standing by the witness can just record what has been asked. Yes, Senator Ombo.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I also want you to guide us in this proceeding whether it is actually right for the counsel to coach the witness when we seek clarification from him.
What I've directed is that the assistant, the counsel's assistant, to note what the senator is asking so that you can give to the witness. That is why you are standing beside him to support him on any material that he is asked to do.
And for avoidance of doubt, Mr. Speaker, I wasn't guiding him. I was just reminding him what the second question was, being whether there's a relationship with the
deputy. Can you ask the second question?
It is perhaps the most important. To the best of your knowledge, is there a personal relationship between your son, Dennis, and the DG? And when you are giving him, when was being given the money to send to the DG, was he also given the cell phone number of the DG?
Yes, proceed and answer that question.
Mr. Speaker, sir, through me, all my sons, including Dennis, we have got relationship with the DG. Number two, the man which was sent to my son, Dennis Misati, to forward it to His Excellency the Deputy Governor, it's me who gave him his number, the deputy's number.
Okay, that's okay. No, he has answered that. He gave the, you had 4 questions. Which other one? And let us just do 2 questions with the 2 minutes. Because we cannot restrict 2 minutes.
Speaker, how you deal with your 2 minutes is your problem. If I can ask 20 questions in 2 minutes.
What I mean is that if we give the senators 2 minutes,
yes,
then the witness 20 minutes.
So if there is a problem, the witness answering questions, that is not my problem.
So kindly ask your last one.
The last question was that whether it is your evidence on record and on oath that your son, Dennis, has actually cooked up a story to malign a person that he has no personal relationship with in the name and character of the DG.
Mr. Speaker, sir, according what Honorable Senator said, and if I can also summarize what's going on, my son was lured, intoxicated with some of the people to use him to fail the deputy governor. And that's why my son, after I paid school fees, he stayed at home for 3 to 4 days, and the vehicle came to collect him. Where they went with his wife, I cannot tell up to now.
Next is Senator Mohamed Chute Said.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have two quick questions for Mr. Misati. My first question is, do you have, if he has any documentary evidence that shows that he has borrowed the money from the Deputy Governor, the 600,000? My number two question is there any contribution from his son, Dennis, in regards to the payment of the 600,000 shillings paid to the Deputy Governor? Thank you very much.
Okay, witness, respond.
What was that? Second. Mr. Speaker, sir, as usual, for friends, unless that much or money is a loan, in most cases, Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have any evidence as he gave me the money because of the trust.
Second one, the second question.
What? Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir, I think I've not gotten the second question. It will be easier for me.
Give Senator Chute the mic, kindly. Give Senator Chute the mic.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The question goes to the witness. I'm asking the witness if there are any contribution that was made from his son, Dennis, in regards to the payment of the 600,000 shillings paid in form of M-Pesa or cash to His Excellency the Deputy Governor. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, sir, they said 600,000. It was never sent from me to the DG. It was the DG who sent me that money to me. Therefore, Dennis' contribution is not there.
Senator Sifuna Edwin.
Mr. Speaker, I was really looking forward to an explanation from the witness as to why it was necessary for the money that was sent from Dennis to be sent by Dennis, because it went from the mother to Dennis to the DG. If indeed it was a debt, it would have been sent direct either by him to the DG or the mother to the DG. But he has made something very curious comment that it was for his own financial management. That is what I want him to clarify for me, because it doesn't make financial sense for money to move through those 3 stages incurring transfer charges. What do you mean by your own financial management? Because it was a direct transaction. You should just have told your wife, send to the DG. I want to understand that explanation that you gave witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I can go back, I think I was asked, since I had more than 500 in my account, why I never sent the money in whole, the 500,000. And that's why I mentioned that I have got my financial management, that if I move from here, the other bag is this side. In connection, why the money was never sent direct from my wife to reach his M-Pesa is this. My wife doesn't have the number of the DG. That's why
give the witness time to answer the question, can't you?
That's why, Mr. Speaker, sir. That's why, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Are you through with your answer?
Continue?
Are you done? Yes, proceed.
Yeah, and that's why I instructed my wife to send the money to my son, Dennis, so that we can continue with other processes.
No, but you are on the queue. You are on the queue. On the same, a follow-up question.
Just one clarification, Speaker, so that we don't lose that train of thought, because the witness says that the wife could not send the money to the deputy governor because the wife didn't have the number. But I also recall that he has said that Dennis himself did not also have the number of the deputy governor. So he had also to send the number to Dennis. Why was it very difficult for him not to send to, it was easy to send to Dennis and very difficult to send to the wife. So just that one.
Senator Medu, are you asking me or the witness? The witness, proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. You know, every person has what his own ways how he operates. And that is the best way I operate it.
Okay, thank you. Let us, Senator, on the senators, on the senators. Next is Senator Cheptuma William.
Mr. Speaker, I have only one question. That the witness went to visit the DG with his sons. And Mr. Speaker, from the evidence, the sons sat far from where the DG and the witness were conversing. I want the witness to confirm to this House that there was no discussion at all about the support of the DG to secure a job for Dennis.
May I proceed, witness, answer that question from Senator William Cheptumu.
Mr. Speaker, sir, kindly and humbly come again.
Senator Cheptumo, frame your question in a way that you think you can understand faster.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. Okay, let me say, Mr. Speaker, but the question I want to find, I want to ask the witness is that yesterday, Dennis confirmed that he accompanied him to the DG's house. And today again, the witness confirmed that he visited the deputy governor with his sons. And confirms that he was not, the sons were sitting far from the two, that is the deputy governor and him. My question to the witness is to confirm to this House that you did not discuss anything about the support of the deputy governor to secure your son, Dennis, employment in the county government. Is that clear now? I believe so.
Very clear, Mr. Speaker, sir. In our social discussions, including the refund of the 500,000 and a request, like any other person, that my son had applied for the job of what's called the commercial manager. I just conversed with the DG about the same issue.
Senator Maruma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's just about the visit of Mr. Misati and the sons to the DG. Yesterday, I thought that the sons were kept away from the DG and Mr. Misati because the sons were not familiar with the DG. But when Mr. Misati was answering the question by Senator Wambua, he said that my sons are familiar to the DG. So my question would be, why were the sons kept away from the discussion between Mr. Misati and the DG, and yet they are familiar? What were they cooking? What are they asking? Thank you, Chair.
And senators, I can see a trend that some of the senators are trying to jump the queue. Doing a follow-up of the question, that is, you are now becoming more technical, but you can answer that one. Answer that question.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the senator has said that yesterday my son Dennis indicated that there is no familiarity with the deputy governor. And today I've said that we are very familiar with the family of Dr. Munda. And by indicating that if we were, or if we are familiar, why was it that I was seated far from my own sons if there was anything cooking? Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg and to say there are some things when you have got some discussions, you cannot include your sons. And there was nothing was cooking.
Okay, Senator Sige, again.
Thank you, Speaker. My first question to the witness is, there's a lot of information that differs from the affidavit you gave under oath then with the information that you're giving under oath today. So my first question is, were you lying then or are you lying now? My second question is, in the evidence you gave about the transaction on the 28th of last year, the 28th of May, you say that the reason your wife sent the money to your son is so that Dennis can run to an M-Pesa point and withdraw because the DG requested for cash. Now, at the beginning of your testimony when you're being introduced, your counsel asked you to tell us what you do. You said that you own an M-Pesa business. My second question is, why would you say that your son did not find any M-Pesa branches open to withdraw the cash, and that's why he sent it through the phone, when you own your own M-Pesa business, which you could have withdrawn from there through your son? And my last question is, Mr. Speaker, I want the witness to agree with me that the DG has higher financial capacity than he has for several years within their friendship. He has earned more than Mr. Joseph. So my question is, are you giving testimony that may differ between your affidavit and today because you might be weary of the well running dry in terms of the favors that you receive, financial favors from the DG through your long-term friendship? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Witness.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, the first question, although I never got them all, the senator said whether I were lying or I'm lying today. That's no. The second question, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Senator, she has said that if I am operating the M-Pesa, why didn't I send the money direct to the DG? One, my M-Pesa balance by that time had no such balance. Two, because the DG wanted money in cash, that's why I opted the money to be sent to my son Dennis so that we can go to the nearest shop to withdraw, but unfortunately we found that the shops had closed.
Have you answered the 3 questions?
The third one, it went out of my... The third one, please.
Speaker, the third question that I asked is for the witness to agree that the DG has more financial capacity in terms of earnings and has had so for a long time in their friendship. And therefore, is he concerned that without his testimony today, trying to help the DG remain in office, that the well would run dry in terms of the favors, financial favors that the DG has afforded to the witness in the past?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honorable Senate, it will depend, as you are all here. It doesn't mean that when you are a senator, you are a DG, you have got a lot of money. Most people, they always operate on loans. If there is any person if there is any person I know that is struggling on financial crisis, is my friend DG.
Yes, next is Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Misati, Waswahili walisema ujuao uchungu wa mwana ni mzazi, na walimba wakasema mtoto sio nguo utanunua, utaomba mtu. Asante. Niulize leo, ndugu yangu, nini hicho kilifanya mwana wako Dennis ambaye ameishi miaka 13 Nairobi aweze kuuza ile biashara yake na kuletee zile fedha? Swali la pili, katika ile biashara yako ya M-Pesa, katika zile transaction inaonekana ya kwamba ulituma zile 1251 kutumia simu yako ya rununu. Nini hiyo ilifanya zile pesa zilizobakia zile 1249 ziwe lazima zipeane katika kitita cha cash? Asante Bwana Speaker. Pesa taslim.
Yes, Mr. Witness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Nafikiri umeelewa Kiswahili vizuri. Haya, endelea ujibu.
Yeah, I've gotten the message. In the question of, amesema ya kwamba, if I cannot translate that one, the person who knows the bitterness of the child is who? Mzazi. And I've indicated very clearly and stated earlier that my son has been away for the last 13 years and above. Okay? Even during that time, although there was rare communications, I used to send him some money for its upkeep, even if I don't have the documents to support that. And by saying that he sold his own saloon, as indicated, that one I can say he had no saloon.
Witness, kindly answer the questions that you have been asked by this Honorable Senator. Within a minute, just answer the question directly without circumventing a lot of explanations. But it is just a direct question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Then, if it's alleged that he sold his goods or his saloon, where he took the money, I don't know. Question number 2. What is it?
Mr. Witness, that question was never asked by the Senator. Can you repeat your question for record purposes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me just use the English language and just ask Mr. Misati the reason as to why your son sold his business in Nairobi, the salon business. But I think Mr. Speaker is also answering and saying the son did not have any salon business. Let me take the answer like that. And so maybe you can answer the second question, Mr. Misati.
Ask it.
Refresh the question, please.
Yeah, my second question, Mr. Misati, was the first transaction that you sent to the DG was 251 in M-Pesa. And how comes you had to send, to give the DG cash, the 249 that your son had to run around to look for money to be able to give it cash, yet the first batch was given on M-Pesa? What was wrong in still sending the 249 via M-Pesa? And you had said that politicians do not have money. Is it the case that your good friend was looking for money from you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. In our discussions, when you were together with DG, I told him that I've got some money from my account, which was, I remitted that money 70 times 3 plus 41, which came up to 251,000. In our discussion now, according to what the DG conversed to me, he told me that he needs some cash. And then that's why I instructed my wife to send it to Dennis so that we can look a way how we can encash that money from any nearest M-Pesa.
Senator Muhaji Mohamed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to refer the witness to page 65 of the bundle, the DG's bundle. I see you transferred 70,000, another 70,000, another 70,000 on the same 28th. And you had a handsome balance in the account. Why didn't you transfer the whole 500,000 that evening through your account? Number 2, you say this debt which you are paying to Mr. Monda was contracted in the year 2022. Or isn't that so? When was the last time you visited Mr. Monda before you went to his house on 28th of May, 2023? Thank you.
Answer the 2 questions.
The 2 questions, okay, the first loan, the whole amount. Why I never sent the whole amount? Because I had a balance of more than 1 million. And I think, Honorable Speaker, I indicated very clearly that the much money I wanted to withdraw from my account was 251 reasons for financial management. The other money, which was in my wife's M-Pesa, is the one I wanted to send to my son, then to encash it. Second question, I now got it. The third one is when I was last went to DG's home. That one is very difficult to answer because I don't write the dates, but I frequently visit him when I invite him, or I book appointment when he's at home.
Senator Mudigi Alexander.
Asante Bwana Spika. Salamu kwa Bwana Misati. Bwana Misati, vile nakuona na vile unaonekana umekomaa kabisa. Wewe ni mzee wa kijiji, wewe ni mzee wa kanisa. Kwa hivyo tunajua kuna mambo ya wazee na mambo ya familia na mambo ya rafiki. Swali langu, kama wewe ni mzee kabisa, kuna mambo ya kijana na bibi yake, kuna mambo yako na bibi yako, na kuna mambo ya deputy na kazi yake. Wewe kama mzee ambaye unaweza kuunganisha watu, ndio hii mambo isikunje hapa, kwa sababu ni kesi, ni mambo ambaye ingetatuliwa hapo mbeleni nyumbani, kwa sababu ya urafiki na mambo ya familia. Ulichukua hatua gani kama wewe ni mzee? Ndio mambo isiende kwa county government na ikuje hapa mtafute ambaye hata unakumbuka Biblia inasema watu wawili waweze kutembea pamoja kama waja kumbaliana. Ndio isifike uweze kusaidia kazi ya governor, kwa sababu inaonekana kazi ya governor iko hatarini na mambo ya familia iko hatarini. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. I answer that question.
Let him first answer the question, then
I think that's a very good question to me. And I think I indicated very clearly that some of the issues after paying school fees of my granddaughter, things started changing as from 6th January to 13th January. Now, I think I paid school fees on Monday, following the 6th, that's Monday. After paying school fees, my son brought some shopping, which was equivalent to 13,000. Then I told him that the 30,000, I cannot raise it now. If it were possible for some of your brothers, they can assist you. Let me just look for the 500 to buy the essential things. Meanwhile, because books are needed, we can borrow books for my granddaughter, which I did on the Monday. After doing that, the person who brought me the books, I told him to take to my son's house. As he took them there, the person whom I sent there, he told me that, I am sorry, my cousin has bought all the books. Now I was wondering what has happened, where did he get the money? Now, after he escorted his daughter to school, he stayed only for 2 days. And within those days, from 6th to the time he disappeared, he showed like somebody who has got a lot of money. You know, when you have got money, you are change of style of walking, you are change of style of eating. And then I was surprised where this young man got the money from. Only to find that the boy, or my son,
Witness, I think you have answered the question.
Disappeared.
Yes.
After it disappeared. That is why I was unable, Honorable Senator. I would have, if he would have come to me to know what he was conspiring, we should have been in the same page.
Senator Kenya, what is your point of order?
Asanti Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, hii ni nyumba ya kumbukumbu na tumekuwa na kikao kama hiki tukijadili mswada kama huu, na nakumbuka ya kwamba maswali ambayo tunapaswa kuuliza Bwana Spika ni ya ufafanuzi mahali ambapo hatujaelewa vizuri Bwana Spika, lakini maswali mengine yanayoulizwa ni kana kwamba sisi tayari tumekata kesi na mwelekeo ambao tunataka kuuchukua. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, nakumbuka vizuri kwa sababu hii ni nyumba ya kumbukumbu, na Spika mwenzako alisema vivyo hivyo kwamba maswali tunayouliza yanapaswa yaelekezwe kwa ufafanuzi, lakini si kuonekana kana kwamba tayari tumechukua msimamo na mwelekeo ambao tunao. Bwana Spika,
Kinywa, mimi nikiwa hapa kwa hiki kiti sijasikia maswali kama hayo unasema ya muulizo. Kwa hivyo mimi vile yale maswali hawa majaji wanauliza ni yale maswali yatawasaidia kukata kauli mwisho ya hii sehemu. Now let us have Senator Ososi. Senator Mudigi, you out of order. I will throw you out of this house, Mr. Mudigi. Mudigi, out of order. Mudigi, resume your seat. Senator Mudigi. Senator Ososi.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask the witness in his affidavit that is on page 59 of the defense. It is stated that one of the things he has said that we asked each other possible favors, and this includes favors like helping each other look out for jobs, education opportunities, and other social welfare openings for especially our children. This reference to looking for jobs, it is which jobs? Can you tell the House which jobs were you looking for your children?
Mr.
Yes,
Speaker, sir. I proceed? Mr. Speaker, sir, like any other person who has taken his children to school and because of scarcity employment is not a crime, or it is not, because I'm not a lawyer, to discuss social life like the way of looking jobs. Number two, if you have seen that educational opportunities, I can recall when my children were in high school, others in universities, the DG and his wife, they usually came one of my fundraising for the education of my children. That one is also, I think I've answered that one.
Senator Chalagay Samson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine is three questions. Mr. Misati, have you in any way are you only friends with DG or you are also business partners? Number one. Number two, you have said politicians normally are financially strapped or struggle, which I agree to some extent, but some are well-oiled. Have you ever in any point, like you as truly, have you ever in any point funded any of the campaigns in the DG Monda's political career? Number two, or being part of his campaign. Number three, Mr. Speaker, in this M-Pesa sending, were you sending money to Dennis Misati out of affection, love, or you are assigning him responsibility? Because I want to know, because you are saying you are sending to him to show to him that you love him. But again, you are giving him responsibility to send the same money to the DG. And finally, are you aware of allegations of bribe of 800,000? Is it 800,000 or is it 600,000? Can you differentiate the same? Are you aware of the bribe of 800,000 or you are only aware of 600,000? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Mr. Witness.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think the first question was that are we friends or do we have a business in partnership? Before I retired, I was having shops of agrovet. And during that time, the DG was also having a shop at Kisii. Therefore, he was supplying me with goods to sell, then I want to refund. Indeed, we are friends, but we are not partners. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, how much money is being used for campaigns. And if you can look at the much we have been transacting, was very little money. And then if I can say, I have never funded the DG's campaign. What is this?
Last question.
Okay, the third one, Honorable Senator, because of the language, but I can just combine it. I sent the money because of love to my son and at the same time responsibility. The third one, if I'm not wrong, about that, am I aware about end bribe? I've gotten the figure of 600, 800. It's only that I learned this issue of bribery after the impeachment. That my son and I went to the DGs to bribe him. Opposed is the case. If I can say about the 600 and 800, the 800 I learned from after impeachment. The 600, the senator has indicated, is the figures there, yes, but this is the money the DG gave me and I'm yet to refund. 500.
That's okay. So, honorable senators, we and both the teams from the DG and the County Assembly of Kisii, we are breaking for lunch at this hour 1 up to 2:30 p.m. So we'll be resuming exactly at 2:30 p.m. So, upstanding honorable senators, it is now 1 p.m. time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until today, Thursday, 14th of March 2024 at 2:30 p.m.